Cities are rising, rising in front of me. I wanna hide it, want to go back to sleep. I wish I could rewind it. Can I rewind it? We woke up naked, like we're more than friends. We can go through it, can do it all again, like we rewind it. Like we rewind it. And I don't wanna know, I just wanna feel. We let it go, nothing is too wrong, we make it real. Don't wanna care, just live and die. I see you there, nothing is too wrong for you and I. Oh, we're somewhere else, oh, somewhere else in mind. Oh, we're somewhere else, but still we can't rewind. Oh, we're somewhere else, oh, somewhere else in mind. Oh, we're somewhere else, but still we can't rewind. We meet in the morning like it's a demon, but it's just something I don't believe in. Still we rewind it, keep on rewind it. Across the borders, beyond the city lights, a new horizon with unforgiving lies, but I don't mind it. Keep on rewind it. And I don't wanna know, I just wanna feel. We let it go, nothing is too wrong, we make it real. Don't wanna care, just live and die. I see you there, nothing is too wrong for you and I. Oh, we're somewhere else, oh, somewhere else in mind. Oh, we're somewhere else, but still we can't rewind. Oh, we're somewhere
Live 17 floors up, and when it rains I can feel those drops in my window pane. Lets me know that I'm still here. When the sun comes out, I will go outside. When it breaks through clouds, I will give a smile. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends.
Good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And up, and when I cry, I can see this city through my watered eyes. Lets me know that I'm still here. When my eyes clear up, I will go outside. I'll imagine you're still by my side. Lets me know that I'm still here.
Sometimes I want to run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Run away, to the nearest place where I'll find all my old friends.
Good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And
None of this seems right. far as good, it's gotta get worse, and sometimes it's gonna hurt. If you're ever gonna get that bad, then you better plan your attack. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger than you show it. You're braver than you know it. You're stronger.
Photo of you in my mind, on the table under lights. There's no one here but you and I. This neon town is yours and mine. And I said, hey, Carissa, stayed up through the days and night, lay and we watched the world get light. Hey, Carissa, sunlight, freedom in your eyes. Please don't leave now. Photo of you in my mind, on the table under lights. There's no one here but you and I. This neon town is yours and mine. And I said, hey, Carissa, stayed up through the days and night, lay and we watched the world get light. Hey, Carissa, sunlight, freedom in your eyes. Please don't leave now.
We left this town with the speakers loud and the radio playing old Sublime that we stole online, every verse we know. And we hadn't had a clue if we'd make it by noon or even where we'd go. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. We don't need a map, everywhere. The tank said E and we all agreed that we're just too broke to fill it back up, so we left your truck on the road with Rome. Then we found a motel with a cigarette smell, so we knew we were close. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. Is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning.
G'day. Welcome to the RLO Masters January event number 4, week number 4, the decider to determine who's in the top 8. A very, very close battle, Max. I'm sure you're excited for today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super keen for this one. Been following pretty much this week near religiously right now, and I kind of wish I had a whiteboard behind me to sort of highlight all these different playoff scenarios, because we're fighting for this top 8 today, and so many teams have that potential to get into it that realistically anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, already a big surprise is happening, not just in this tournament, but throughout 2021. 2021 has been the year for surprises so far. Just today we saw Renegades go down. Let's have a look at the point standings in terms of how these guys match up and where they all stand. With Renegades coming 9th place, they got to worry about themselves. Team Fenrir even themselves, they've come 9th place today. So they have to worry too. Thankfully for Team Process and Cringe Society, it looks like they should be through.
Yeah, exactly. Process, they're going to be super happy, but Renegades, they're really that team that is on the bubble in trouble, because Mind Freak, Forbidden, and Invisible Ninjas all in the quarterfinals, all matching up against a different opponent. If the 3 of these teams win, then right then and there, Renegades find themselves eliminated. So a bit surprising, and it kind of goes with 2021 being this year of the upsets. Renegades, they're in prime spot position to miss out on another sort of top 8 finish.
I think even if just 2 out of 3 of those guys win, that would knock them out, because that would put Renegades in a tiebreaker for 9th, 10th. So they got to really hope that the things go their way. Forbidden has made a big run. Invisible Ninjas just came off the regional victory, and Mind Freak continually seem to be on the up, and they just their Requiem's playing today. So Renegades should be shaking. And then you have, of course, the battle at the very top between Ground Zero and Direwolves to see who will be that important number 1 seed, especially given, you know, the likes of Renegades could be that 8th seed.
Yeah, it's actually kind of an interesting situation coming into this one, where how badly do you want that number 1, 2 seed? Obviously, you'll feel better, especially considering where some of these teams towards the lower end might be on that downward trend. However, a lot of times when these teams are looking at those matchups, it's kind of in that middle. Team Process, the surprise team throughout this RLO Masters, again, another quarterfinal position. They were the team that actually beat Renegades 3-0 to get here. As I think we can take a look at our brackets right now to maybe paint a better picture of how this all came to be. You can see our matchups moving forward. Process in, a bit of a surprise. Forbidden in, really wouldn't have predicted that one, but they're still fighting to get in that top 8. So upsets aplenty, and I kind of like Forbidden's odds against Solicit as well.
Yeah, I mean, Forbidden take it down Team Fenrir just now. They've had their ups and downs, and they've even said that they're disbanding as of the end of this season, kind of just riding out the RLO Masters. But hell, even a really good performance from them today could get them into the finals and maybe turn around those spirits. Team Process, as you said, took down Renegades to get a match, unfortunately, against Ground Zero. So the matches that we are interested in is definitely Forbidden Gaming, Invisible Ninja, and Mind Freak, to see if any of them win this first round, they do qualify over Renegades or get into a tiebreaker for that top 8. Should be very interesting. Maybe expecting another Ground Zero versus Direwolves in the grand final if both of them can make that run.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, it does look like Ground Zero has a little bit of that easier run necessarily than the Direwolves, but Direwolves have been making it happen consistently within the RLO Masters, so definitely don't want to discredit them. Yet our first matchup, it is going to be Cringe Society versus Mind Freak, and as you mentioned, a win here for Mind Freak ties them at least with Fenrir who did sort of drop out before this top 8 situation, and by getting to that tiebreak, you know, you have some avenue to secure the top 8, if not securing it outright. So a lot on the lines for Mindfreak to step up, perform in this matchup.
It will be interesting to find out exactly how this matchup goes, because I've actually believed that Mindfreak are on the up. They've had some really tough matches early on. They've obviously played with Lethal for multiple weeks. I think 2 of the weeks where they just didn't perform as well as they could. They got taken down by Cringe Society in a close game 5, which, you know, if it went the other way, then Mindfreak would have been in the same position as Cringe Society are now, where they are solidly through. But, you know, this is their last chance, realistically, against a team like Cringe Society, who, for me, have been struggling. I mean, I've been the one casting them, and they have been struggling so far in 2021, and maybe even since the introduction of Jules. That's the team that you have to beat if you're Mindfreak.
I do have to agree with pretty much 90% of what you're saying right now. I mean, I've had the luxury of covering Mindfreak, so even when they had their full roster, again, they did fall short before. They only got to that quarterfinal. However, today in particular, they have looked better than at any other sort of RLO Masters that we've seen from them. They look a lot similar to when I got to cover them during the, I believe it was the 3rd regional, actually, during the round of 32. So Mindfreak does seem on the up in that regards. Cringe Society could be a little bit shaky. This is a good opportunity for Mindfreak to really secure them in as we kick things off. Caveman Ben already putting shots on target.
Good start here for Mindfreak, as you'd expect. I know earlier today they had a tough match against Renegades, but most of that was spent still playing with Lethal, and then Requiem came in at the last second, just like he has here. An opening just saved out by Cringe. Still seeing, for me, Cringe, my biggest problem with them has been just a shakiness in terms of how they go about the offense, and it's led them to be non-threatening at times, but their defense has consistently been solid throughout.
It's interesting because when you sort of compare that, you know, solid defense to Mindfreak, where I've had issues with them has been like commitment to play. Sometimes there's hesitation, sometimes they draw things out a little too long, and it gives defenses an opportunity to find those deeper clears, and it feels like sometimes the Mindfreak attack will get stalled out early, but that's not the case in this one, as Caveman Ben with another chance, this time stopped by the crossbar.
I will say the thing that's got to me recently with Mindfreak is I do believe they're on the up, but Fever hasn't been playing as well as he did pretty much through all of 2020. Maybe a tough start to the year, maybe he hasn't been putting his nose to the grindstone as not enough, or maybe it's just the fact that Requiem has picked up a little bit of the slack that is giving him less room. But either way, if Fever does have a big performance, I think that's how Mindfreak, you know, go to that next level, do take it up against the top 4.
I do agree, and I think the reason why Fever has been a bit more reserved has been more of a stylistic change, and I'm glad you brought up Requiem because he has been so much more aggressive, I feel like, in 2021 than he was in 2020, at least towards the tail end of it all, and Fever is a lot of times actually wound up in that 3rd-man position where he doesn't feel as comfortable. I feel like with a player like Fever, you do want him pressing forward, going for some of those big mechy plays, but that just hasn't been Mindfreak's style just yet. As we see Cringe Society now with a chance, nice touch from Ben. Requiem will be able to play through the corner underneath. It's an interesting sort of dichotomy right now, and I feel like if Mindfreak can get Fever comfortable playing further back, we already know Requiem can do that as well. This team can kind of become that 3-headed tiger.
I do love the fact that on the other end, you still got the powerhouse names. I mean, I haven't been respecting them maybe in recent times, with Drip 8 being such a legendary player. But, you know, some of that tends to also be down to how comfortable they are with each other. And it just feels they've all been a little bit ruined by some of their previous teams. Jules kind of getting into a team with Amphis and previously with Spy Doge, and throughout the year many different members he's had to play with, so he's got his own play style. Decker and Drippe tried something brand new with Torsos, and yeah, play style wise they've still got to find that middle ground, and I haven't seen the Jules pop off just yet in 2021.
Well, that just means it's due, yummy, and hopefully we do get to see it soon. This would be a fine time to see it, although I'm sure they would rather pull that outcome, you know, major finals or even during the Masters finals, although Deca has a chance right here. Will put it in the top left corner, and that's the 1-0 lead for the Cringe Society.
I love that shot too, as Drippay just comes in, hits that high off the backboard. No way for the defense to go up, so they did at least trust the fact that it was going to bounce off the backboard. But with Deca striking like that, and a lot of teams are going to have to start looking at these guys because they may have to face them in the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's going to be a quick response. Requiem finds one pretty much just off of that kickoff.
It is very quick. Yeah, the kickoff goal, not very well defended out. Drippay had moved forward off that boost, and that left him slow on the way back. So, Mind Freak, they kind of get away with this one a little bit. A weak start in game one, but a kickoff goal still keeps them well in contention.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight series if things do continue at the rate that they are. I kind of feel like, for the most part, we have been seeing Mind Freak more on the tack, surprisingly, than Cringe Society, but Cringe Society did take advantage of their moments previously, and they could have a chance right here if Jules gets enough speed behind this touch. Requiem forced on his back foot. Jules still from underneath it. Everyone kind of smashes into each other right there. Requiem, the one with possession, starts to turn it back the other way. The lob shot surely does not go in, and Jules will take it to the corner.
Drippay almost scored that in his own half, but with 40 seconds left, game one really setting the tone for this series, and almost a shot there. Drippay has to dive for the save, and it's gone long. Deca, can he get another one? He does! What a redirect!
Yeah, finally, with that much pressure, Cringe Society do find their avenue straight down the middle. Deca still had to work for it, despite that net being open, but the defense unable to fall back in time. 2-1 lead in our dying seconds in game one.
Cringe Society, well, that was a major upgrade. The fact that they're pushing Deca forward, they're getting him into striking positions, not sitting in the defense anymore. Now they just have to hold on for 20 more seconds, Max.
20 seconds against a lot of teams can be easy, but when you start playing against those top 8 teams, it tends to be a bit more of a challenge. That said, it's easier on the opponent's side of the pitch. Drippay misses his chance, but the second touch does come through a little bit too premature. Cave Van Ben will keep it alive. Deca from up above throws it back towards the Mind Freak side of the field. Ball being held up. Drippay actually takes it to the backboard. He wanted to end it on a goal. It will touch the ground though, and Cringe Society win game one.
Great start for Cringe Society. You really did expect that they would come out swinging. And Mind Freak, their only goal was off the kickoff, but look at the shot differential. You did see them getting onto attack a lot early. They couldn't keep it up as Cringe Society kind of just held them out and eventually opened up the game. And maybe a bit of frustration coming out from Mind Freak in this first one.
Perhaps, and it would kind of carry over from some of their stuff during the group stages today. I would say roughly 50% of their goals actually have been coming off of the kickoffs. Their kickoffs look on point right now, but some of these more sustained plays, we saw it more so at the start of this game, they just haven't been able to find those accurate shots. There's been a lot of crossbars, a couple open net misses as well out of Requiem. They've been struggling a bit to sort of finish these plays off, and historically, we can see that come back to punish teams, although another kickoff for Mind Freak. If they can keep doing this, they'll stay competitive.
I can't believe this is allowed to happen. Oh, Deca just completely over the top of him. Didn't even give it an effort. And Caveman Ben very happy to get that first goal. This may be turning out to be a lot more like this the last series they played, where it was very back and forth. I think it was, games fired back and forth. Only one team managed to get 2 in a row, and that was Cringe Society to take the win. But this has got to be considered a kickoff goal as well.
Yeah, I would count this one as a kickoff goal. Whenever you have 2 goals scored in the first 15 seconds, both of them are kickoffs. As you can see right there, Deca just reads the middle of the field, takes it straight down the middle. A couple defenders had a chance, but with the physicality coming from Cringe Society, we've got a tie game.
I've seen series like this too many times. It's just kickoff goal after kickoff goal. It always feels like a freestyle tournament at this point.
I mean, especially with, tight double touches like that out of Jules. Just did all the work right there. I think out of all of the goals we've seen, that one was probably the most impressive, at least on the individual level. And Cringe Society, they have that lead right back.
Well, at this rate, we're going to have a series of about 40 goals.
No, not
and it's
again.
going to be another no! Just saved out Jules on the line, but Requiem had done so well in front of the net with that flip reset.
And now it looks to be going back the other way. Jules with a chance. And, you know, speaking of Jules, if this was that freestyle contest we were talking about, you know, I'd be calling foul play on him. You let those resets go through. That would have counted, so a little bit disappointed.
In a real freestyle tournament, that's worth like 1 point out of 10. That was, you know, it's a really good tournament goal, but you know, freestyle tournaments, they're a whole nother level in terms of their creativity.
That is true. Perhaps we should be watching Forbidden then, if that's what we would be after. As it stands, Fever with the shot will put it through, and we're tied once more.
Man, these guys are sieving goals. Just leaking everywhere, but Fever finding a nice shot. Jules expecting something much lower. And that actually took a lot of courage from Fever to go for a shot up there where Jules was. Because usually Jules is going to stay up there nice and high.
Yeah, a little bit of the mind game, you know, reverse psychology situation, I feel like, out of Fever. You know, you wouldn't possibly expect me to shoot it straight at you, and, well, that proved to be the case. Caveman Ben now trying to go for his own waterfall second touch, and two people swing at the ball. No one hits it until Deca gets behind it, and another swing and a miss from a player pushing forward right now. It looks like we have our first sustained play, however.
Almost look like Renegades there, flying past the ball in front of the net. Mind Freak, they could have had the lead. They're not going to be too happy with themselves, kind of letting those goals go. That outside of the fact that there's been multiple kickoff goals, it's usually pretty hard to score against Cringe Society, so you need to make everyone count.
Yeah, I feel like after that flurry of offense, there's a good chance both these teams, too, will be playing a bit more reserved throughout the rest of this game. Wouldn't be surprised if it does finish with just one more point. That said, Mind Freak has the chance right here. Fever put it on target. Drippe just gets underneath, but here comes Requiem. And again, Drippe off of the squishy, it looked like, makes another key save. Jules taking it the other way will be stopped by Ben.
Something I've been impressed by in terms of Cringe Society recently, that matches, in my opinion, their quite defensive midfield level play, has been demos. And we haven't seen that come out just yet. I think that's going to break the rotation of Mind Freak. They've been pretty solid in the midfield themselves, in fact taking control and a lot of pressure and a lot of forward momentum throughout this series. And it's all because they're not under the pump right now by those demos.
Yeah, game two, actually a little bit of a reverse in game number one, where we are seeing, well, we were seeing a bit more of that Cringe Society attack, it feels like. And there's the demos you speak about, Jules forcing a 2v1 situation, yet Fever still comes up big and at least delays the attack for now.
The demo is in the midfield, more just to give them some control and a chance of attack, but nothing that's going to scare Mind Freak whatsoever. And in fact, they've played this nicely. You saw all of them slow down, ready to play the defense. Got the solo out and the potential chance here with Fever going nice and high, hits the roof, but bumped out by Jules in the air.
And you can see the rest of Mind Freak fell back, and with that miss from Ben, scary situation. Requiem does get that save. Fever, delayed defense off that backwards, going to try to pinch it, gets it underneath one. Deca put it in an awkward spot. Plenty of time, though, to clear it to the corner. These counterattacks from both teams are so dangerous, and Jules found his opening. That's going to be the 3-2 lead.
And it was off a demo. Jules at the other end. Demos one, opens up the net, and easy as pie for that one to go in.
And it was a very intelligent play as well, seeing two members of Mind Freak pressing forward on that attack. That demo just opened up the net for the next, 5 to 6 seconds. All they had to do was clear it back the other way. So, Cringe Society, with that play, they get the lead, and they're on the precipice of a 2-0 series lead as well.
I'm also starting to question whether it's Mind Freak being good at kickoffs, or if Cringe Society are giving them. That was another close opportunity that just rang off the post from the kickoff. And I think those kind of kickoffs can win you an entire series for Mind Freak. They just haven't been able to get enough at this point in time to get that lead. It's Cringe Society starting to actually pile this pressure forward and prevent Mind Freak from having any more opportunities.
Mind Freak will still try to force the issue, though. Ben kind of sends it across the pitch. Jules will follow it up, and that is a very open-looking net. With no boost, though, Jules cannot quite redirect that shot fast enough, so Mind Freak's defense does hold on. 30 seconds to go. Mind Freak in desperate need to find this equalizing goal. Requiem will go up, but he won't come down with it.
Jules wasn't too happy to miss that goal earlier because he used all of his boost to specifically get out of defense and give his team room to come back. And you can kind of see Drippe moving back here. Now Decker is in a very hard third man position. They're all in defense mode right now, so Caveman Ben will have to try and break something open. Requiem, the last man, the last one with a chance to get a goal, but it will hit the ground. Cringe Society up 2 games.
And they felt 2 pretty dominant games, truth be told. I mean, yes, we've seen really a lot of Mind Freak attack, but at the same time, that Cringe Society defense, for the most part, has been holding resolute. And when you look at Mind Freak goals, they're pretty much all kickoff goals so far in this series, which goes back to their performance in the group stages as well. I think, to go back to your previous point, it is Mind Freak's kickoff. It's just been on point today, but the follow-through, the extended plays, that hasn't been able to finish out for a lot of the games today, and seeing that continue into the quarterfinals, it is raising some sort of warning flags in my mind.
I am a bit worried about Mind Freak. They haven't got that creativity we normally see. They don't have Fever able to set up goals. We don't have Requiem making kind of unpredictable plays, and that usually hinders Caveman Ben, who is known for finishing more than anything else. So we got to start seeing something a little bit different than just straight shots on net, something a little different than just some pressure. We need some good passes, we need some good demos, or we need Requiem to make some good solo plays.
I mean, already saw Requiem back in sort of the round of 12 get the triple touch. So I know it's in his arsenal. He's still pulling them off even today, but to pull that against Cringe Society, that could be the catalyst this Mind Freak team needs. Back against the wall, game number 3, trying to avoid a tie-break situation. If they lose this game, they're most likely going to have to play a series against the Renegades at some stage to get into the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, it might be difficult if there's still that chance that if they lose and the other 2 win, right, that they may not be in the tiebreaker either, that they might just be knocked out alongside Renegades. It's a very interesting circumstance based on the performances and sometimes lack of performances from multiple top teams around the region in 2021 so far in the RLO Masters. And, Mind Freak definitely have to put in a lot more right now, but Jules has opened it up for Decker.
What an individual effort from Jules right here. Had the boost, had the control, gets it past not 1 but 2 defenders, and Deca just needs to tap that ball to finish the play off. Credit where credit is due, though. Jules coming up massive right there.
Love to see it. That's 2 big goals from Jules. What did I ask for? The Jules pop-off. What did I silently hope didn't happen? Jules question marks, and it hasn't happened so far this game. Love to see it.
Should be worth noting, though, Mind Freak almost answered right back off of that kickoff. You can see how aggressive they are to that ball after each and every goal. Yet, with that stop, it means we're going to need to see that Mind Freak creativity, perhaps, if they're going to tie this one back up. And, well, that was definitely different. I'm not sure that was a creative approach, yet it did almost work.
There was some creativity to it, but I actually find that Jules is one of the best players in OC at avoiding those demos in front of net and still making the save. He has to try to do it again. He can't avoid it, but it's not on target. So thankfully for Jules, doesn't look a little bit silly, just gets to look smart still, and may even have an opportunity as he's backing up Drippe, but not for long. He will respawn soon, but Caveman Ben has the shot. It is too quick for Jules.
That was still enough to get, a bit of the nerves flowing right there. Caveman Ben taking his time. Jules felt like he had time to get the boost.
Why are you getting the boost? You know the shot's coming. Come on, man. You've been in that situation where you spawn multiple times. You know the ball's coming at your own end. Your teammates have at least called it. Oh, no. Right, it's 1 question mark. That's all. He's had 2 big goals, so we'll still call it the pop-off match.
Yeah, I mean, game's still tied. See where we go from here. I want to see a little bit more from Jules before this is the definitive one, and we'll kick up from this shot. Caveman Ben able to get underneath it, but won't be able to take it back the other way. Drippe now with the chance. Not a lot of boost to work with, and Fever from underneath tries to get the clear. Jules disrupts the clear attempt and then turns it into a demo. Deca now sets it up for Requiem, who puts it on target off of the backboard, though. Not quite the goal.
It's not going to go in just yet, but Mind Freak again in a solid position. They need to be way more dominant, and Fever needs to score that as well in order to get it. It's off the post. Can hits the post as well. Misses all around. Fever can't finish it off there. And that is a complete disaster, end to end for Mindfreak.
They're still not done, though. They've been able to keep the attacking pressure throughout. However, by this time, Cringe Society should have recovered. They should have their boost, and now it is Mindfreak playing a little further back. Nice bait getting Deca to push forward, yet the follow-through from Drippe will slow things down, and that finally breaks the attack. But to go back to that flurry of offense, that's what I was talking about before. Mindfreak still struggling to finish, and it just feels like their strikes have not been on point today.
I'm gonna say this a million times at this point. I've been drilling it for all of 2021, since all of the winter split. The teams that are winning are the teams that are finishing their shots. Their striking now needs to be on form, perfect, 50% accuracy at least. And it is not coming out like that today for Mindfreak. And Cringe Society, they haven't had too many shots, but they're still getting plenty of goals throughout these games.
That they are, although this game 3 is still up in the air. Tie ball game as we approach our final minute. And again, it is Mindfreak on the attack, but the defense from Cringe Society, every single time that last possible moment, a player is there to disrupt this attack, and we just haven't been able to see the sustained pressure. We haven't seen the creativity to sort of bait and overcommit, and until we see that, I have to have that confidence in this defense to keep Mindfreak back.
It's like the fact that Cringe Society has spent a lot of time with this playstyle, playing more defensive. It's almost like a boot camp for them in defense. Their defense has been so good, but it can only last so long. Fever will snipe it from the mid.
Yeah, all he needed was to pass that 125 kilometer per hour mark. 127, any slower. Drippe is there. That is the power, and that is the fever that Mindfreak needs if they want to get to this semifinal.
Well, Mindfreak are looking better. Once again, starting to finish some of those shots. Keep in mind, it's 10 shots to 3. Mindfreak to Cringe Society. It's been similar game to game. Usually that is telling of how strong a team will be, but it's fully playing into the Cringe Society playstyle either way. And double demos coming out from Cringe may open up something, but a 50 to Requiem, and he's going to slow this down, just waste time from the clock.
Still 14 seconds to go. Jules actually nearly opens up that net. Deca just couldn't get enough power to get it past Requiem. Still 7 seconds on the clock. Requiem's going to try and create as much distance as possible. Big demo from Ben. And with Fever on that follow through, that should end this game. Yet, Cringe Society still finds that pass. Deca keeps it alive. Jules did push forward. Now is forced to pass it backwards. This Cringe attack is looking a little disjointed. And finally, the ball touches the ground.
A shame for Deca as well. He had the chance to score in regulation time, but didn't get it. So Mindfreak, hold on, take that win, and maybe take that confidence going forward, knowing that they're still really getting that forward pressure, and all they need to do is figure out how to finally finish that off with an infield pass, with a demo, with a backboard, with a solo play. What is going to come out from them? It kind of doesn't matter. They've got the building blocks. They just need to figure out how to go that extra step here against Cringe.
Yeah, so far the only real goal that it looks like has been consistent for them has been the kickoff, and I just don't feel that's good enough with how strong the Cringe Society defense is playing. Yes, we did see Fever put that absolute cracker of a shot through, but I'm not sure, again, relying on every shot breaking that 125 kilometer per hour mark, again, is a realistic expectation. They get a win, that's the start, but to take 2 more, still want to see that little bit more on their attacking half.
Yeah, that go-ahead goal was also a little bit surprising, with it being based off a 50 going perfectly their way. And, sometimes that's a fortune you can rely on a little bit in Rocket League, but you don't want to have to rely on it. You want to be forcing the goals to come out. And this is the man, Requiem, that we want to see do it as well. And maybe could have been something more there if he got that extra touch.
Yeah, that was such a tight window, and you kind of feel like Requiem sort of overcommitted in the sense of if he was touching that ball, it was going in. Otherwise, he'd rather miss it entirely. Ball now back in the middle of the field. Jules will look for that pass to Drippe in front of the net. Requiem's there. It's a weaker touch to the corner. A lot of members of this Cringe Society around it, but in the end, they all back off as we continue to bounce around in the middle of the field.
Jules has an opportunity, actually opts for the pass to Drippe. It's right in front of the net, off the post, but Deca will finish. 3-man Again, pass play off the backboard, all started off by this low touch straight to Drippe.
And I loved the confidence of the second pass right there to throw it back to Deca, recognizing that Fever right there in front of the net. If that shot, although it might have looked open, it would have been saved. So it was a high-risk backboard play, but it does pay off, and Cringe Society back out in front.
I mean, you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. I really feel like Jules was trying to slot it in. Still trying to get that one around Fever, but it was a little bit fortunate that it came off the post. Not fortunate there. It's pinballed all around the defense and into the net.
Jules just really had a bad time here. First he gets bumped out of the play and then kind of forced to own goal, that being in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Never really got his bearings, and as a result, we have a tie game.
Cringe Society can't hold on to a lead for very long, it seems, in this entire series. And they won't hold on to it anymore, but another one off the post. Drippe will get the counter-attack, but Requiem was hanging back. Thankfully for them, no disaster in terms of that counter-attack goal going through.
Not just yet, at least, although Mindfreak still being forced to play some defense right now. And this is the most aggressive we've actually seen Cringe Society thus far in any of these games. They're going to be forced back on that back foot. Requiem with the chance, gets in the box. Hey, Van Ben just cannot get it over the top of Jules. Fever with another opportunity, this time placed to the corner. Nice pass back with Ben. Too far forward to turn it into the strike, and we're starting to see more passes from Mindfreak, it looks like, when they're pressing forward, but they're just not able to connect on them just yet.
Fever will be trying to open it up, and he's got a good solo play, but where's the support? Requiem was all the way back in his own defense. Fever having to do it alone. He will come back in once again, and they have forced Cringe Society into an awkward position with very low boost, but Jules puts enough pressure on. That will go sailing in front of the Mindfreak defense, and all that pressure that Mindfreak had built up has dissipated fast.
Yeah, again, ball kind of sitting around no man's land for a good while right there. Each team should be able to reset. Good boost steal from Drippe, actually. Turns it into a shot, but a little bit too tight. Now Fever should be able to find that clear. Two defenders and no boost. Going to have to really work to make this something happen here, and it does set up and pass across the middle, but Requiem too far back to immediately find the strike.
For a potential breakaway, Deca has given possession away in the hopes of maybe building some boost and some space. It has made it a little bit more awkward for the Cringe Society attack to be threatening, and that is again what I have been, worried about in terms of Cringe Society and their performances in 2021. And now it's an opening here. Caveman Ben just need to finish it. And that is a beautiful shot from Caveman Ben.
What would you call that one? 88, 87 degree angle? Let's take another look right here. Maybe closer to 86, but still. Picture perfect positioning, and by spiking it off the ground does cause Jules to miss. Mindfreak retaking the lead with just over 100 seconds left in play.
He really just licked it in. That was a very soft stroke right there. And that is very, very good signs here for Mindfreak. They're going strength to strength. Are they going to get into this reverse sweep situation?
Well, it seems like they've got the momentum once again on their side, yet Cringe Society, they can find those quick counterattacks. Speaking with Deca, has a nice pass to Jules. Requiem steals away, breakaway. They've got to turn this one into a goal. Requiem will 3-1 lead Mindfreak.
Oh, they're going to be very happy. They're finally converting on a lot of their plays, and once they're in the lead, they're even forcing Cringe Society to, I guess, get desperate there with the dive from third man. And a 2-goal lead, you're expecting Mindfreak are one of those teams that can hold on to this one.
You would hope. I mean, if they want to prove themselves to be a semi-final team, these are the leads you hold on to, or you add to, as Caveman Ben across the middle definitely seems to have put this one out of reach.
Renegades are sweating. This is the result they didn't want. They didn't want Mindfreak to even have a chance of the reverse sweep, to have the series win. We're gonna worry here, because it's becoming more and more likely with a 4-1 lead. That kind of momentum is going to be very difficult for Cringe Society to break, given the fact that Mindfreak have had so much pressure and so many shots throughout the entire series.
It feels like we got that game 5, and if you want to add to that Renegade pressure, real quick, Attack of the Invisible Ninja did 3-0 the Direwolves. So Mind Freak wins, Ninja wins, and so too does Forbidden. Next thing you know, Renegades are out. Pressure, though, coming back from Cringe Society. They're not going to find that goal immediately there. 40 seconds left to play, and Cringe Society, they're still trying to create their opportunities.
I actually think that means that if Mind Freak win this one, that Renegades will be 100% out. Interesting development over in the other side of the bracket. And not necessarily meaning that these guys do get through, because there could still be a tiebreaker there, but eliminating Renegades would be one of their best competitors or biggest competitors in terms of Mind Freak and Cringe Society. So they'd be happy if it does go that way. We'll see, because we are getting into a Game 5 here.
Yeah, and it's going to be a very, very critical Game 5. Mind Freak, they're trying to secure their spot, and that's a nice shot from Ben. Decker should be able to make that save. Put this one away. The reverse sweep now completely on that table. Mind Freak looking to go all in on it, and Cringe Society, they've got to find a way to sort of get that momentum back.
These shots are now getting converted as well, and even Cringe Society did get 9 on the board, their highest shooting game, but a lot of them were more desperation shots compared to the past. And Mind Freak are starting to turn that domination in terms of possession, in terms of attack, into actual conversion of goals. 4 goals, you're pretty much always going to win if you get a 4-goal game.
And it's interesting because even though Fever didn't really score any of the goals this time around, I do feel like Fever was playing further forward on average than where he was in those first 2 games. And it kind of goes back to, you know, wanting Fever to be a bit further up, to be a bit more of that playmaker. You saw it in the 2 assists that he got, did lead the team this time around. So maybe they're starting to find a bit more comfortable positions on the pitch, at least against Cringe Society. Obviously, it all comes down to this next match if they can pull it out. It's a pretty must-win situation for Mind Freak, and with that pressure, it's now time to step up and capitalize.
I also feel like Drippe has been very quiet across the series, you know. I've seen him not have too much impact. He had that good one that he connected with Jules for. Outside of that, he's been a big playmaker for them in the past. He's been able to use the room wisely. We are heading to a game number 5 to determine not just the fate of these teams, not just the fate of Mind Freak, but the fate of Renegades as well. Will Cringe Society secure it maybe for their rivals?
I mean, I feel like we've seen similar situations to this in Renegades past as well. Season 9, it kind of came down to that reverse sweep as well to knock them out of the playoff situation. Granted, this is RLO Masters, it's not the RLCS, but it would just be another missed opportunity perhaps for the Renegades if Mind Freak get it done. As it stands, momentum should be on Mind Freak's side, yet Cringe Society, they're the ones on the attack. That shot from Deca should go in. Requiem nearly makes the save, but Jules puts it through.
I just have a little bit of a drip coming down my pants at the moment. I can't believe that was on the line for that long. And if it didn't go in, I would have just had to facepalm. I wouldn't know what to do for Cringe Society. But they do get it. It was a brilliant shot. Just needed a little extra oomph to get that one across the line.
That oomph, though, is going to carry over. Shot from Jules, saved by Fever, and now Mind Freak will be looking to take it back the other way. Gets past the midfield player as Deca takes it to the corner. Caveman Ben, they're waiting. Meatball in front of the net, but no one from Mind Freak wanted to press forward. They're playing a bit further back, and again, Fever in that 3rd-man role nearly gets punished straight away. Deca keeps it in the box, but Caveman Ben should be able to corner it. Yet he doesn't!
Beautiful stuff from Cringe Society. A great follow-up. And Jules manages to slot this one in.
It felt like Mind Freak had a couple opportunities to get that ball safely to the corner, yet they let it hang around the middle of the field a bit too long. And as you mentioned, Jules able to slot through, gets that goal. 2-0 lead now, and I think Renegades might be starting to relax a bit. Mind Freak, they certainly are not.
I hope they do, because I think that's when we see the best from Jules, that he's going to relax when he's got the chance to make a few plays as well. We'll see, though. I do think in the past, Cringe Society have gone even more defensive when they get a strong lead, and it's cost them in terms of giving too many opportunities away to their opponents, because there's still plenty of time on the clock for Mind Freak to come back in this one.
Yeah, there is, but again, going back to how Cringe Society has played defense in the first 3 games, if we see that Cringe Society back in form, it is going to be difficult to find those 2 goals for Mind Freak. Jules will connect onto Drippe. That gets off the backboard, but a bump from underneath kind of sent Drippe way off course. Now, Requiem versus Deca. The reset was there, but he can't make contact with the ball. Ben, however, can, and we're back within one.
That's even just the threat of the reset. This is what's scary about Requiem. He gets the flip reset. Deca sees him actually flip. And the fact that he didn't make contact with the ball didn't matter because Deca was already playing for it.
The crazy thing about that, it actually looked like Requiem was going for the bump off the reset as well. Like, I'm not sure his intention was to actually find that shot there, and that just adds a whole nother element to what you need to be cautious about. I can't blame Deca for being nervous right there at all.
I don't know if Deca's going to be thinking the same thing. He'll be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe he just didn't get it. But that is what happens a lot in Rocket League, especially with Requiem. He will often make plays that catch you off guard. A breakaway here, though. Drippe has the chance, but takes it high. Jules is up there waiting. He almost found a fantastic angle there.
That would have been a backbreaker, although this one could be Deca. Not enough power behind that. Fever can rotate back, beats out Jules as well. Drippe is going to try to play corner defense right here. Ben goes up to challenge, has a awkward read, actually goes over the top, and with Requiem pushing forward, here comes the cringe counterattack. It will be shut down.
A lot of confusion there between Jules and Drippe, but sorted out pretty quickly in the voice comms, it seems. The caveman Ben now, an opportunity of his own, gets it past one, but it's straight to Deca. A dangerous attack to leave that ball go, sinking right in front of the net. It leads to an easy clear, and Cringe Society have had good counterattacks, still pushing players forward, ready to receive these passes, maybe get some redirects. And with this being in the Mindfreak defense, Cringe Society going to be very happy and maybe even go for some demos here.
They need to go for something, I feel like, because by keeping Mindfreak in this, I feel like it could be a matter of time before someone will step up. Fever won't be able to get it over the top of Deca, who should be able to follow through, yet couple awkward touches right there. I love it when one player misses and it just sets up that chain reaction.
Yeah, that was Viva getting an awkward touch and maybe not expecting the pass to go the way it was. And another demo, this time it's Drippe has opened up room for Deca. It'll have to be Jules, and he's been playing a lot more ones recently. The dribbles should be much better, but Caveman Pen, he's worked wonders with that ball in that play.
And now we see Jules forced to backboard it himself. Ben from underneath gets it back. It's set up for Requiem, but a little bit too tight. Means Fever now has the space to work with, not a lot of boost. See if he can get it over the top of Drippe. Has to be creative with this approach. Jules makes the read. 40 seconds left to play. Jules doesn't get the shot he was looking for, and that could set up Mindfreak for that last-ditch effort.
A chance here for Mindfreak to sink one in. Fever challenges two. They've taken them out. Requiem has to do something, but it was a bad touch back to Fever, slowing down that attack. Cringe Society holding in the defense. Deca even toying a bit with Caveman Ben, and it's gone perfectly out for Jules. They break out of defense.
I'm so surprised no one from Mindfreak was in the middle of the pitch right there. It felt like that would have been where they wanted to set up the strike. Now 5 seconds to go. They've got to go the distance, but Deca is already shutting Ben down. Ball in the corner. Fever needs to connect to someone. Requiem can't get it alive, and Cringe Society win it in Game 5.
Oh, they do it for themselves. They've been having a tough time lately, and they make it through to the semi-finals for the second time in 2021. After being the first team in the top 3 to go 9th place, now they are starting to find some redemption. But they've also made it much more difficult for Mindfreak and given a chance to Renegades, their long-term rivals.
That said, though, for both Mindfreak and for Renegades, if Forbidden Gaming wins their matchup against Solicit, I'm pretty sure they're each out. This does mean Attack of the Invisible Ninja, however, they are through not only to the semifinals, who will be playing against Cringe Society, but they have also qualified for that top 8, and it's kind of that bit of a waiting game for us, Yummy. We need to figure out, is it Forbidden or is it Solicit who's going to that semifinal?
I have an update for you. Solicit have won their quarterfinal 3-2 over Forbidden Gaming. You know what that means.
It's the
It means we're almost guaranteed a tiebreaker match to determine who is going to be joining the top 8 monthly final, Max.
Yeah, I believe that is the 3-way tie. So Forbidden, Mindfreak, and Renegades are all going to be tied on that same score line. And somehow, someway, this is a Basting's job to determine how the tiebreakers are going to properly work out, but one of those 3 teams is going to have to win a series, I feel like, against at least one of those other teams in order to get through.
Well, I think it may even be somewhat of a three-way tiebreaker. Forbidden, Renegades, and Mind Freak all in that one fight for the very top. We'll see exactly how that does go. But look, we're gonna have a talk about that a bit more after the break. That was a great quarterfinal, great way to kick off the last week of January. So let's take a quick break and be back, and we'll talk about the bracket even more after this break. RLO Masters has already kicked off with a great quarterfinals, not just in this first one, not just in Cringe Society versus Mind Freak, but across the board already. It really is shaping up to be a big monthly final next Tuesday, Max.
Yeah, and the most disappointing thing, I feel like, is we're not even going to know our full 8 teams when we come into it. 7 of them have been secured, but with that 3-way tie break, not sure when it's going to happen, but that will determine the 8th team. I mean, when you can't end things in regulation, it's always more exciting. It's why overtimes are great, game 5s are great, so things will be rolling on. But for this last monthly, obviously, majors, monthly finals around the corner, there still is seeding and bragging rights on the line, and that's what these remaining teams are going to be playing for.
Yeah, the seeding is definitely important, again, especially with, well, not just Renegades, but potentially Mind Freak in that tiebreaker. Those are teams you don't want to be versing first round in the monthly final. And at this point in time, we might see the likes of Attack of the Invisible Ninja in the 7th seed. So another team you could potentially want to avoid. So maybe even you want to come through as the 3rd seed at this point. Who knows?
Yeah, it's interesting because I haven't really thought about 7-6, but I feel like with the results, Fenrir is now tied, I'm pretty sure, with Invisible Ninja. And then Process also could be in that 3-way tie as well. So we could be looking at 2 3-way ties to really determine who is going where. I think the safest situation in a lot of these events is just win. If you always win your matches, then you have nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah, I mean, the likes of Ground Zero and Dire Wolves are going to be happy, and we have to look at that. Let's have a look at the bracket. They have to be happy with whatever bracket they get. But there's a problem in Paradise right now. Dire Wolves got 3-0'd by Invisible Ninja, which totally means that grand final was not a fluke. They have been secured as, or Invisible Ninja have secured themselves as a potential top team. They also almost beat Ground Zero today before a reverse sweep and maybe a throw or 2 here or there by Invisible Ninja. So they are definitely here to play.
Yeah, and I mean, Cringe Society, they didn't look perfect in their series against Mind Freak, and if Ninjas are firing on all cylinders, this could be a tough matchup for the Cringe Society side, and another chance for the Ninjas to sort of establish themselves perhaps as one of the top 5, top 4 team front runners. Taking a quick look at our lineups right here. No crazy substitutes. Each of these teams, they will be playing at full strength.
We haven't seen the substitutes come out from either of these guys for a long time, and we are expecting great things. They're both secured already in the top 8, but you know, a top 2 for both of them, very important. Invisible Ninja, sure, they got the RLCS top 2, but in the RLO Masters, they haven't had the same performance. Cringe Society as well, the best they done was the 3rd, 4th, where they lost to Team Process, and both of them will be looking to get into that prize money. Only one of them can make it.
Yeah, I feel like there's also a little bit more on the line, at least emotionally, in this type of situation for Cringe Society. I mean, obviously, it's not the main event, but you still want to, at least prove it to yourself. Prove that this lineup still can make those top 2 and even possibly winning situations. They just haven't had that success yet, and once again, they're in a prime position to pull it off against a team that you have to believe they feel they should be winning. I feel pressure might be on this Cringe Society side right now, and I'm sort of waiting for them to step up and get that top 2 or even that top 1 finish.
It was still a really interesting series in the last one in terms of the Cringe Society performance. I really expected them to put out more, and it wasn't until that Game 5 that I felt we saw what Cringe Society could offer. But is that enough to take down somebody as hot as Invisible Ninja are right now?
Look, all I'm going to say is Invisible Ninja seems to be doing a bit better than Camera Havoc was, and that's a scary sign moving forward as Spydoge, off of that kickoff, tries to get some pressure going. Drippe was able to get back in time. Walcott as well, keeping that attacking pressure there, but the Cringe Society defense does what it does, and they eventually clear it past midfield.
And the great thing about Canberra Havoc has just been Spydoge coming back into form. That's what he did all over the weekend. Leduc was there to support him. I've been backing Walcott on this team for quite a while now. And now he has a full 3-man roster joining forces. And Spydoge today, even earlier on against Ground Zero, still looked to be doing well. Leduc was still scoring his goals. So maybe not just a one-weekend-only performance in RLCS.
I think getting into the top 4 and getting that 3-0 over Dire Wolves definitely did prove that it was not a one-weekend only. However, this semifinal not off to the start that they necessarily want. Deca is the player who strikes first.
Yeah, nice one from Decker. Gets a solid strike on this one, but most importantly finds that angle behind the defender. And an early lead again for Cringe Society after getting the first goal against Mind Freak as well.
And credit to Drippe on that one. He did get in Spydoge's way, and when you get in the playmaker's face and causes him to hesitate, it's only going to increase your odds moving forward.
And a chance for a second goal here as well for Cringe Society. But something that Canberra Havoc and now Invisible Ninja have always been good at is holding on a defense, reeling teams in, and then getting a counter-attack. So you always have to worry. It always seems so scary to be in a position where all three members are pushed up against that Invisible Ninja defense. But now it's a breakaway the other end. Jules just needs to get that in.
No!
And he doesn't. He doesn't get contact whatsoever. And it'll come off the post.
That feels like such a missed opportunity right there. I mean, it won't get much more open than that moving forwards. Yet, to go back to your previous point, and something I find interesting, with the way how sort of Cringe Society has been approaching the game, more so in 2021, as you mentioned, with their more defense style, it almost feels like two teams are going to want to do that same thing in sort of baiting their opponents forward. So I do expect that as the series progresses, we're going to see a fair few breakaways like that from Jules, and it's going to be the team that capitalizes on them that winds up taking the series.
I do worry a lot here because Cringe Society have had 3 good chances, 3 really good opportunities that they've missed out on so far. And I've seen that happen a lot against Invisible Ninja. They get given, or they give away a lot of opportunities early on. They don't get sunk. And then a couple of sneaky goals out of nowhere completely reverses a game or even a series.
That said, though, credit to the Cringe Society and not really giving the Invisible Ninjas their opportunities just yet. Granted, only halfway through this game, so still plenty of time, and that 1 goal cushion is definitely not one you want to be sleeping on. You want to get a bit more fluff behind it, and speaking of fluff, duck feathers, they usually do quite well, as he will try to press that one forward. Ball does get to the corner before Deca shuts it down.
And now Deca going for the solo play, a surprise! Actually fakes it underneath, but the thing that I've still noticed is missing from Deca's play. He needs to be able to threaten those flip resets, and they're not coming out consistently yet. He doesn't even attempt them too often. And while you don't need to be able to flip reset to be a good player, you do need to at least be able to threaten it in order to fake that defense in that situation. That was what costed him, the fact that they knew that he wasn't going to get it.
Spido's threatening a reset as if on point right there. Doesn't really connect. It was kind of more of a ceiling shot either way. Ball's been staying for a good while in that corner. Eventually it does start to break out. Walcott doesn't really center it as much as I would expect. Finally it does get centered, but with no attacker there, Drippe actually might turn this to that counterattack. Spido's off the backboard though will slow things down.
Spidoge and Walcott working well together, but Ladakh is left alone. Walcott staying behind that ball to keep it away from danger. Decker has been a fiend in the attack, really dogging the defense at the moment. And he's still absolutely causing carnage as he was also going for the bumps. It gets turned around, but not much boost here on Invisible Ninja to actually make a play.
And we still haven't seen that sustained ninja attack yet, or really any true threatening counterattack plays. Walcott nearly has it there. Deca able to get underneath, and it still feels like, even though, yes, both defenses have been playing admirably, I feel that Cringe Society have been a little bit more aggressive. They've created more opportunities for themselves, and it's reflected in that 1-0 lead.
Spidoge, another good pass to Dark. There's good connections coming out from Ninja, but it's not working when Cringe Society aren't pushing up too hard. They're willing to chill out here with 10 seconds left, and maybe even 10 seconds before they take game 1. And it looks very likely here, 5 seconds left, and still Cringe Society in attack, and that's one more just to secure the first game.
Yeah, that's gotta feel good to see Cringe Society get a little aggressive at the tail end of it all. Drippe really did a good job on that challenge right there, but for Deca to somehow stay underneath that ball and actually put that on target, that was a very impressive goal. A little bit of a shame it didn't really mean too much more in terms of the standings of that game, but Deca's gotta feel good with that strike.
It's a confidence thing for Decker, and he's a confidence player. Even though I over-talk about that a bit too much, you got to ham on about something every now and again. You can't come up with new things to say every week.
Well, what I want to ham on about right now is that 7-shot to 2-shot difference between these two teams after game number 1. And for Cringe Society, like in that last series where they were forced to play defensively largely throughout it all, to come out with a bit more of an aggressive style than Attack of the Invisible Ninja and yet still find that victory, it kind of tells me that Cringe Society right now are looking like the more balanced team.
It's not surprising, though, to see Invisible Ninja have a lot less shots. Obviously, 2 is very telling. But the thing that impressed me about the big run of Invisible Ninja was the fact that it didn't rely on just counterattacks, just playing defense, just frustrating your opponent, just making your own luck. They were actually able to get on attack. They were able to get some really good demos as well. So even though you don't have to worry so much if they don't have too many shots, because they're normally getting good counters, I do feel like it's not replicating how they played to actually win the entire thing on the weekend.
And I feel like when they do create that offensive pressure, surprisingly enough, sometimes it comes from those bumps and demos out of Leduc and sort of those weird angles that he can approach the ball or the defender at. And he was relatively silent game number 1.
Wait.
Spidosh almost gets that goal right there.
What? I don't even know what happened. It bounced off 3 different players, hit the crossbar, and somehow worked out for Cringe Society in that one. So, I mean, we need an instant replay feature, really. We'll never actually know what exactly happened there. And Cringe Society, oh, they get away with another one. Invisible Ninja, I think it was Spidosh, missed the net.
The good teams always get the breaks, it feels like. That's just something that transcends all sports right now, and unfortunately for the Invisible Ninja, they can't find their lucky break just yet. Walcott will play through that corner, looks to connect with someone across the middle, instead only finds Deca. Shot was on target, but Spidos was able to keep it up in the air.
As I said, the stakes on the line for Invisible Ninja. The questions are whether they can have a back-to-back performance like they did on the weekend. It seems to be different. Seems to be a little bit off. And Cringe Society still getting a lot of pressure, but it's still a 0-goal game. And just saved out once again by Spidosh, but Walcott and Spidosh getting confused there on top of each other and even bumping out of the way before Walcott gets it to the other end.
So many near misses already in game 2. Both teams looking a little bit sloppy on offense and defense, but I feel that's coming from these high pressure situations. To quote one son of Jupiter, the panic mechanics almost seem out in full bore for each of these sides. That's kept the scoreline at 0 apiece right now, almost halfway through game number 2.
And that was a really bad touch from Jules. It almost opened up, but a spectacular save from Drippe. Well, keeper scores tied. And this, though, has made it awkward. Jules, don't go for that one. Don't. Spidosh will get it past Jules as he dives past and will get the first one on the board for Invisible Ninja.
Drippe and Jules. I mean, that was essentially the 3 strikes you're out right there. All 3 members of Cringe Society had a chance to clear that ball out as Spidos was just sort of knocking it up and dribbling it to himself throughout it all. That is a goal that probably should not have happened, yet Attack of the Invisible Ninja, they'll take that. They'll go up 1-0, and off of the reset, Spidos nearly gets a second.
I can at least give something away there for Jules as Walcott sinks this one in. Is that Jules, you know, if you have your teammates challenging, you want to back up that challenge and you have that pressure on yourself that they forced out a play, so you want to go for it. It was a mistake there. In this play, though, it was just beauty from Spidosh.
Yeah, Spidosh making it happen. Now off the kickoff, Leduc is going to jump into the speeding frenzy as well. 3 goals in the past, 10 seconds after a scoreless first half. Canberra Havoc blowing game 2 out of the water.
You love to see Leduc getting in on the action too, and the kickoff's going the way Invisible Ninja. And it does also raise questions. Wasn't Mindfreak having a good kickoff in the last one, or is it just Cringe Society having the rough kickoff, especially when it kind of just freezes there in the middle over the kickoff line?
I still want to say it's a little bit of both right now, but you can't ignore the success that both of these teams have had against Cringe Society, at least at this stage of the game. Just under 2 minutes left, and interesting dynamics. Like, it's been a almost complete turnaround from what we saw in game number 1 as Spidos continues to add to this lead. Only 3 shots have been taken from Cringe Society thus far.
That is Another nice pass over the top of the defense. Spido's just waiting in the wings to receive that one. And, well, game one, it was actually pretty close. Final goal to get a 2-goal lead at the last second. Didn't really separate everything from that one, but this one, a dominating performance so far from Invisible Ninja.
And it just comes to show what Invisible Ninja can do if they get those opportunities. Spidosh in particular looking very much on form and absolutely able to capitalize. And going back to game one, they just weren't able to get those initial opportunities. But now that they've been able to find them through the demo game, through the bump game, and through the kickoff game, Invisible Ninja definitely looks like the stronger team at the present.
It's also just their passing has been on form as well. You get these passes that are crisp towards each other, very fast, difficult to play off of. Another good angle that Jules almost hits the montage reel for, but again, falls short. A triple commit from Canberra Havoc, Invisible Ninja. Shouldn't really cost them, but it is still funny to see.
As we hit our final 45 seconds, we will have ourselves that proper series. No sweeps today. As Walcott looks to put another shot on Drippe from up above, will clear it to safety and now looks to go the distance. 4 goals though, 33 seconds. I'm not really a believer in this situation.
Yeah, especially the situation that Cringe are in right now in terms of their defense. They've still got members of Invisible Ninja looking for demos, looking for pumps. Not at the other end, and Spidosh, I thought he was going to be able to save that one, but it was just pure class here for Drippe.
As we watch this once more, a nice redirect to go opposite corner, and Spidosh, he probably, I'm assuming he didn't have boost in that situation, otherwise I feel like you'd be trying to bump it up and above on that backboard, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe he thought that it was wide. Interesting to see Spidosh kind of stay underneath it, not make any attempt whatsoever. But again, doesn't make too much of a difference here. Though Pod Walcott could lead to one more goal. As maybe just a bit of a consolation prize here. Jules has missed it. So even that consolation goal isn't going to happen. And Invisible Ninja, well, they've tied up the series.
That they have one apiece and looking pretty good that second game around when you pretty much, what is it? So that is 13 shots. So over 400% more shots being taken in game number 2 than game number 1. Yeah, that's usually a sign that things are starting to turn around for you. And we go back to sort of that ability to be able to capitalize on those moments given to you, being able to finish those plays. Well, Attack of the Invisible Ninja, they showed that they have the ability to do so. And if they can continue to make those plays, Cringe Society might be able to, or might continue to be stuck on that back foot.
And this game too looked a lot more like that impressive performance we saw, where they were getting on attack, they were getting demos, they were being confident, and they were striking well. I'm actually starting to worry about the competition here. They've already taken down the number 2 in Dire Wolves. They have a chance now to take down, I don't know where you classify Cringe Society right now, but top 5 Cringe Society. And all that would be left to make a clean sweep would be potentially Grand Zero in the Grand Finals.
Yeah, and when you win one regional, sometimes there can still be question marks, but if you win 2 tournaments pretty much back to back, that's when you solidify your mark, and that's what the Invisible Ninjas are looking to do right now. And realistically, the only serious complaint that I can have about this team is that if you want to be called the Invisible Ninjas, Spidosh, you need a card that's a little less loud. That lime green definitely does not suit the team theme that you might be going for.
Yeah, but it's fun, and we all love a bit of fun. I think Invisible Ninja are definitely a team that exude that kind of fun atmosphere. Leduc and Walcott always very talkative and quick chat as well. And just enjoy spending their time with each other. We'll see if that does translate to good performances overall. We're heading towards the major in just a week and a half. It is going to be crucial to have that confidence going in this week in the monthly final as well. And to earn that seeding in the monthly final also help get that big performance, because it's a double elim. You're not gonna have too many chances.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big Tuesday next week, so make sure you remember it. Leduc almost gets an absolute cracker of a shot right there. Jules has to save, but Not finished yet. Leduc still trying to pepper that backward, still trying to force the issue. He even goes for the bump, yet somehow Deca can see through that attack and make the save.
Nice. Leduc can't be considered a thorn. He's got to be a full chunk of wood in the defense of Cringe Society, just straight through their hand at the moment, because he has been so frustrating to deal with, constantly turning on the ball, constantly going for demos, and he smokes this one in.
Yeah, again, it's those angles where you never know where Leduc can sometimes come from. 112 straight down. There was no height. It was essentially a spike, and it will go into that back of the net. 1-0 lead for the attack of the Invisible Ninja.
This is starting to get very scary. It's been, 5 goals to 1 at the moment for Invisible Ninja. Spido's also looking for one more. It's Walcott instead. There was a soft shot saved out by Jules and given a little bit of breathing room, but you don't have any room to breathe against Invisible Ninja. He got bumped just on the way back to from a player on Invisible Ninja just going back to defense.
I think that was Leduc who wants to play a bit more like an angry swan in this situation. As we approach that halfway point, again, the demo's coming through, this time to alleviate some of that attacking pressure from Prince Society. Ball will bounce around in the middle of the field. Walcott's going to look for that opening, but instead concede that bit of ground to Drippe. Prince Society might be starting to feel the pressure here. They are going to go a bit more on the attack, but one touch from Leduc completely throws them running back to their own side of the field.
Those are those important touches that Invisible Ninja always seem to be able to make to get out of defense. They always push somebody up as well to make sure the defensive passing is always on form. It's so hard to keep pressure against Invisible Ninja. So hard to keep them pinned into defense for so long. A good demo, but another soft shot, this time from Drippe, leaves them wanting more.
Fortunately for Invisible Ninja, Leduc was able to wrap around. I was a little nervous because it looked like Spider's actually used all of his boost there on the double commit, and there could have been a chance perhaps for something straight down the middle, yet Leduc fast to the play, able to bail them out, and with that touch as well, we'll throw it back to the Cringe Society side. Now Jules is going to have to try to make something happen, gets it past one, but can't get it past Walcott, as lobber towards the goal will be saved by Drippe.
Spido's getting into positions where he's just not having to commit too much, not having to go for big dives or use a lot of boost, but still forces Cringe Society players to have to make touches they don't want to take. And that is making it so much more difficult for them to get out of defense. Once again, it's Spido's there, and they may not even know that Jules has low boost, but they'll see it eventually, get another breakaway. And will they be able to hold on to a 50-second 1-goal lead just by the fact that they are getting these counterattacks over and over again?
I mean, they keep finding those big clears, and every time they clear that ball back to that opposite side of the pitch, Leduc misses the open net, but Spido's is there. And that is the 2-0 lead that will ice game number 3.
This wasn't important for Leduc to be on target. It was important to keep it away from Deca, who was left stranded alone on the island that is Cringe Society's defense. And listen, there's no paddle, there's no raft, there's no volleyball for Cringe Society. They're looking down a game match point, game number 4 against Invisible Ninja,
who could be looking to make their second big final in a row right now. Just 20 seconds left in this one. As we see a chance perhaps for Cringe Society, it's off the crossbar, but Jules cannot get there in time. That will be that last-ditch effort in this game. Nice bump from Spido's as well, just to ensure it. Although Jules puts it high, the net was there. Deca can't get it past Spido's either. Finally, Jules will put it through, but too much time was taken off the clock.
Some would call Invisible Ninja the luckiest team in OCE. I don't know about that. It does eventually go in. But that first one for Jules ricocheted every single corner. The second one by Jules again off the crossbar. Maybe it's not luck, maybe it's just the shooting accuracy from Jules. And that's an interesting kickoff too that ends up leading to it. Almost going to the ground, but Jules has left room for them to get it, but a difficult position it seems for Deca to be able to turn on that one.
Yeah, awkward positioning. Ninja does hold on. Got interesting. Final 10 seconds, a lot closer than I think anyone was expecting considering how that game was playing out. However, that is twice in a row where it feels like Attack the Invisible Ninja really controlled the tempo and the pace of that game. Granted, Cringe Society did get more opportunities in game number 3 than they did in game number 2. However, the defense from Ninja and their ability to find deep clear after deep clear after deep clear really did feel like they kept Cringe Society from establishing and setting up a sustained attack.
Nah, I mean, it was so difficult for Cringe Society to get out of defense. And that's often what you've said in the past about Invisible Ninja, that they're hoping for that counterattack once the overcommit happens. But Invisible Ninja getting out of defense well, pinning Cringe Society in their own half, and then getting demos once they are pinned in to cause that confusion once the boost is gone.
It's a nice 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 punch coming from this blue side, and off of this kickoff as well. You can sort of add that as an element, although with each kickoff that turns into a threat, I'm leaning more and more to the side that Cringe Society, they just don't have that element of their game really sorted right now.
It's got to be up to Cringe Society to step up in this one, but that is not how you do it. Not unrivaled aggression. There's got to be something there, and Spidoge gets a freebie.
They're stepping up to the high dive, and then there's just jumping off and leaving everything exposed. A very free counterattack right there from Attack of the Invisible Ninja, and they're picking up right where they left off in Game 2 and Game 3. They're finding these opportunities, and they're making sure they work. Cringe Society, they need to pick smarter moments, I feel like, to commit to these attacks, but against a team like Ninja, it's so hard to really recognize when those moments actually are.
I don't even know what's going on half the time. Spidoge is getting demos in defense as Cringe Society had maybe just tried to push forward, see what he could do against Spidoge, but he's there and waiting. Walcott. That's actually dangerous. I think if Decker had just put that on target, it was a goal, but once again, Crossbar, the best friends of Invisible Ninja.
I think I stand by my statement. Crossbar is the best defender in the Oceanic region. Time and time again will come up clutch, as similar to our last game, actually. We're seeing a lot of back and forth right now, although at least in this early minute or so in this game, it does feel like Cringe Society are a bit more willing to challenge in the middle of the field.
Decker has to get this clear out as well. Maybe trying to open it up, but a lot of their play that is considered more aggressive, a lot of this passing play from Cringe Society is not happening in that forward half, not in an area that is going to threaten the Invisible Ninja net. And then you'll just see them take a shot. It's usually giving away possession to a team that loves counterattacks. That is as dangerous as it gets. So do some of those misses. I don't know what's happening to Cringe Society right now.
Yeah, it's looking more similar in those situations to game number 2 with the unforced errors and the bit more sloppy play. A little overcommit as well by Ninja right there. Kind of leaves Duck in an awkward situation. That should have been a Rule 1, but Leduc breaks it to try and score. Jules will be able to fall back for the save, but the follow-up shot from Walcott is accurate. Deca, again, though, does enough before he gets demoed. Spidoge, no boost, no power, but still tries to make it work, or does he have boost? Somehow Deca gets behind to get a very nice save.
That was precision play right there from Spidoge, almost managing to sink that in. Fakes out one. There was a demo on the other, and just pinched out at the last moment. Halfway through, Invisible Ninja still being one of the most threatening teams in the Oceanic region at the moment, and they just do not give an inch at this point. It's now getting to a spot where Jules and Trippe, both chasing demos, try to fight anyway back into the attack, and it's straight back into their defense.
Yeah, the attack's so short-lived, and when they chase those demos and they don't find them, they do leave themselves in tough situations. Nice save by Spidoge. Does enough to stop the next attack as well. Drippe with a chance, but still can't get out of that corner. And Walcott, a delicate touch leads to a breakaway. Can he redirect it to a shot? You know he will. And that is another 2-goal lead for the Ninja.
What a smooth operator here. Walcott takes it past Jules, and that was all was needed. Drippe did not expect Jules to get beaten. And a 2-goal lead means we may see Invisible Ninja once again in the grand final. An update on the other side of the bracket too, with Solicit versus Ground Zero. Currently, Solicit are 2-1, but it looks like Ground Zero are going to take the game 4 and go to a final 5th game.
It would be pretty big for Solicit to make yet another final as well. 2021, teams stepping up at moments when you wouldn't expect them to. Speaking of which, stepping up right now, Spidoge will step up for the shot. Drippe gets in the way. Jules now looks to take it back the distance, but middle of the field, Leduc gets that first touch, gets the second as well. Deca unable to follow that one through, and already it feels like a better attack from Cringe Society as Drippe takes us back within 1.
That's what I like to see. This is the play that has worked so well for Cringe Society in the past, and it's when they look their best. It's actually the first time we've really seen that infield play off the corner today.
It's the first time they've been allowed to really get it to the corner, it feels like. A lot of the challenges are either happening like right in front of that corner or at midfield, and those have been the ones that have almost been going the Ninjas' way. So it's good to see that Prince Society can get in that comfortable position. They still have that confidence to execute. However, with only a minute left in this game, they're only going to have one, maybe two opportunities to put it through. Here could be one of those right here. Jules drops it down. Spidosh and Walcott each get in the way. Deca can't follow it through, and the defense continues to hold for the Ninjas.
More frustration as well from Cringe Society. They take it out the defense. They'd beaten both, but somehow Spy Doge, more like Spy God in this one, he's recovered. He's kept them in the lead, and once again kept them in a position to get to the grand final. 40 seconds on the clock, and Cringe Society still need a goal even though they're in defense.
And you keep seeing the Ninjas get those big clears with two members of Cringe Society press forward, and it makes it so hard to establish those counterattacks as they get it back to that orange side. This time, Deca actually has a pretty good spot on that ball. Relatively easy read for Spidosh, and Walcott beats Jules to it with that touch. It gets behind Drippe as well. 10 seconds remaining. Ball on that backboard. Spidosh won't be able to end it just yet Leduc will, and that will be the dagger. Ninja, they're going to be advancing to the final.
Take a bow. That is lights out here for Cringe Society. Knocked out in the top four once again. Not able to make a single grand final run in January. At least not in the weeklies, but you know who has? Invisible Ninja. They have made it. They're following up the likes of Solicit, of Process, of Direwolves, who have all made names this season, this month, and Invisible Ninja backing up their RLCS performance.
Yeah, this is huge for this team right now, and again, the first time it happens, you know, it raises the questions. The second time they make the finals, well, that's when you start answering those questions. And the complete package, like this team, they have a definitive style. Their defense is so suffocating, and yet they also have that creativity on the attack. They find those bumps, those demos, those bizarre angles. It really seems like a complete team right now, and I have to be worried for if you're, you know, whoever comes up against them. Ground Zero, I still would kind of peg as a favorite, but if they're struggling against Solicit, you might have to question what sort of form are they in. This could be another night of the Ninja.
It was very interesting as well. Game one, Cringe Society took it. It looked pretty solid, and it looked like Invisible Ninja weren't playing the way they wanted to. Didn't have the demos. Didn't have that creative offense that's coming out from Spy Doge, and even Leduc being an absolute thorn. But as of game two, they did play the way they want to. They played the way it seems that they want to do in scrims, and the way that has come out after eventually working on months and months and months on being able to perform on the biggest stage. Well, this isn't as nerve-wracking as those scenarios. It should be easier to execute. Maybe a bit of a different situation here, not nerves, but more just taking time to get into their play style.
I think that's the big key, was finding the ways to get into that play style. As soon as we started seeing those big defensive clears, that's when it looked like the Ninjas were really able to strive. Those strong defensive touches definitely appeared to be the catalyst, at least in game number 2, which set them up. We saw it again a lot in game number 4 as well. So those are going to be the things I'm going to be watching out for, and how their opponents will handle it in that grand final, which is just around the corner at this stage.
Yeah, well, we don't actually know the teams just yet. It has gone to Game 5 in the other semi-final. Currently 1 goal in the lead for Ground Zero, able to hold on to their position. But look at that, Invisible Ninja's already booked their ticket to the grand final, taking down the likes of Direwolves versus Cringe Society. This isn't an easy run. This is the harder side of the bracket, and yet they still make it look easy.
It's the run that they could take down who a lot of people perceive as those top 3 teams, and that's definitely how you make that mark. So I believe we're going to be throwing it to a break at this stage, and when we come back, it will be our grand final match. So we'll figure out who we're going to be against just then. Please stay with us. Be right back in just a few moments.
Don't get left behind on the road.
gotten lost. We're starting to think we're out of touch. When did it disappear? Settled in with the dust. Forget what it was that made us us. Walking backwards, losing focus. Slip so slow we didn't notice. Never read the warning signs. But it doesn't matter where we're headed. Made our plans, we're gonna get it. 'Cause I got your hand in mine. So where do we go? Where do we go from here? Highs and lows, all that I know is that I'm gonna follow you wherever you go. Wherever you go, my dear, need you the most. And I wanna know, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? I'm looking for the road, eyes on the sky, taking it one step at a time. I know that I'm not alone, yeah, we'll be fine. Taking it one step at a time. Walking backwards, losing focus. Slip so slow we didn't notice. Never read the warning signs. But it doesn't matter where we're headed. Made our plans, we're gonna get it. 'Cause I got your hand in mine. So where do we go? Where do we go from here? Highs and lows, all that I know is that I'm gonna follow you wherever you go. Wherever you go, my dear, need you the most. And I wanna know, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
2021 has been the rise of some of these teams around the Oceanic region, the rise of upcoming teams towards the top. Well, it's also a year of history, it seems. We've already got Invisible Ninja taking RLCS, and now we are guaranteed a brand new team to win here in the RLO Masters event number 4 of January. Max, this is a history about to be made. No, neither of these teams have won a grand final yet.
history is about to be made, but it also feels so fitting with how 2021 has been going thus far. Solicit, they rose early, catching a lot of teams by surprise, and then late, it did become the rise of the Ninjas as well. So, of course, these would be the two teams that meet in this final team process as well. They had their deep run. They almost had their mark. You could say the same thing about Direwolves and their kind of rise, but I think this month, at least in terms of the RLO Masters, has been best defined by both Solicit as well as the Attack of the Invisible Ninja in terms of the surprising performances, and I'm really excited to see who's going to rise to this occasion right now.
Well, even Direwolves have risen up from the crop too, so last time Solicit were in a Game 7 overtime against Direwolves, and I was really cheering for Solicit to get their first win. Direwolves, they'd already had a win in the RLO Masters. They didn't need another one. It was time for a new team. Now they get their second chance, Solicit, but the way things have been going so well here for Invisible Ninja, it is going to be very difficult. And this is going to be the final match. Just as a note, in terms of how Solicit got here, they did end up getting a 0-second goal over the top of ground zero to take the win. They were tied up all the way to the final second, get it in Game 5, and secure their grand final number 2. They've done it both times at this point over the top of ground zero.
Yeah, it's definitely been a hard road for Solicit, playing 10 out of the maximum 10 games that you can to get here, where Attack of the Invisible Ninja, I think they've been a lot more dominant in their performances. Yeah, they had that slow start against Cringe Society, but overlooking that one game, 3-0 over the Direwolves, which is a pretty statement of a series, 3-1 over Cringe Society, with 3 games being relatively cruisy in that regards as well. Ninjas are looking on form compared to Solicit, who they're pulling off those upsets, they're making it dramatic, but will they be able to close the deal in a best of 7 instead of a best of 5?
It's still funny to think that Invisible Ninja are coming into the grand final as the favorite. They've been in a couple of grand finals now, and typically got pretty well beaten in those by a couple of the top teams from around the region, including Direwolves, taking them down earlier on in, I think it was even October, in that really early event. Now that they have a position where they're in the dominant, they're the favorites, and I feel like they've never even been the favorites in any series, let alone a grand final.
I mean, you could make the argument that they haven't even been a favorite in any of the playoff series tonight. Granted, I probably would have given them the edge against Cringe Society, but it was a pretty close edge. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised to see that one go either way, but the final should be their best matchup against Solicit, yet I don't want to overlook Solicit as well. Like, they already have one final appearance. They're going to be finishing the higher seed no matter what happens in this matchup. It's kind of odd to call the team that's ahead in the standings to be the underdog.
Well, Solicit got a second place. They've also consistently done well, except for they got 9th place, but they had a substitute for that week. They've shown they've been really good. But Attack of the Invisible Ninja, they're about to begin almost a dynasty at this point, because you got to remember the fact that they won against Cringe Society here means that they also took down Direwolves and Ground Zero on the weekend. Cringe Society with the other question, like, would they be able to take them down? They took down Mind Freak as well in that maybe 5th spot. And I guess the only other question left is Invisible Ninja versus Renegades, and that may not even be possible if Renegades don't make it into the monthly final.
Yeah, if Renegades, I mean, they're in that precipice of being knocked out. They're going to have to step up either against Mind Freak or against Forbidden moving forward. So a lot of questions to be answered there. That's probably going to happen over the weekend. The big question right now, though, is which of these two teams is going to find that big historic RLO Masters victory. They're jumping on the pitch. We're going to be doing the same shortly. Champions Field during the day. Kind of off-putting when you also see it's nighttime out my window. Either way, we're kicking off. We are just testing things out, and soon we will be moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes a little bit of time to get in there. You're jumping the gun.
I'm keen.
You're not even the host tonight, Formal, and you're like, let's get in the game. Listen, I'm the captain now, and let's get into the game. The grand final of RLO Masters is right at the doorstep. It is time to get underway, and it is time to crown a new champion of the RLO Masters.
All right, I mean, be honest with me. How much did you bribe high? How much do I need to up that bribe by? to get the
I
ship
wasn't
back.
even in the game, so I don't know why you're calling ready. It's up to me, man. I'm ready to go, but listen, so are these guys. Obviously, Solicit got to have a high after just taking down... I was just seeing Snowy go with us. Just taking down Ground Zero in a tough Game 5. Invisible Ninja coming just incredibly strong. And already, Argy-bargy all around the pitch.
Yeah, and you would think normally that would benefit a team like Ninja. And in fact, they're going to be the first one putting some shots on target. Snowy gets that big save, going back the other way. I'm going to be so curious to see how Solicit actually opts to attack this Ninja side. In the past, I've kind of associated Solicit to sort of strong rotations and very minimal unforced errors, mixed with sometimes some pretty strong individual plays from either Vortex or Tango. I'm not sure how that will work against the defense of this Ninja side if they're continuing to play on point, but I guess that's something we'll learn as the series progresses.
They also tend to have a strong challenge game that shuts down opponents, and maybe Invisible Ninja will struggle a little bit against that style, especially if Tango has a shot, but he's missed. It was wide open, a way to start the grand final off strong, and a missed opportunity here for Solicit.
And it came from that challenge you were talking about. Snowy did a fantastic job with that 50 to put the ball in a near perfect spot, and in a grand final, those are the shots that you cannot afford to miss, especially with how Ninja did look in that semifinal. That said, it has been a slower start for this Ninja side. They haven't been able to really find their own attacking half just yet, and Tango, with a nice play off his own backboard, it starts to look the other way.
Well, the nice thing to note for Solicit is they're stopping this counterplay defensive passing that often comes out from Cringe Society. That's why they've been pinned in to defense so long. They rely on that. They've been slowing the ball down a lot like they did early on against Cringe Society too. Vortex looking for a double. Walcott has to dive for the save. It's gone nice and high and made difficult for the defense as well, especially with Snowy go for bumps, but Invisible Ninja always survives.
That they do, and even when they're pushing forward, they are still keeping one member so far back just to stop any sort of counterattack that might come against them. Walcott right now, that was actually a little bit of an awkward touch, is able to recover it, and finds a good touch to get to the backboard. Spidos won't take this opportunity to strike just yet, but after a kind of a slower start, we can see the Ninjas starting to increase the pace a bit when on defense.
They're at peace as well with their playstyle at the moment, but they need to be getting out of defense. They need to up it a little bit here. 2 minutes left, and it has been one-way traffic, all going the way of Solicit for this game.
It certainly feels that way as Vortex tries to find something across the middle. Walcott, though, will be able to play off that backboard. Snowy still looking for those challenges, still trying to play middle of the field, yet Leduc gets one of those booming clears, and now we get to see Ninja perhaps a little bit more in their element, yet Vortex quickly shuts it down, and something you don't normally see, a breakaway perhaps against the Ninja. Spidos, though, was able to get back in time.
Once again, always ready for the challenge, Solicit, and another one from Snowy. It also leads them to get very good intercepts. It's a breakaway once again for Vortex, and once again a miss in front of the net. They just can't go in to the Invisible Ninja defense. I don't know what they've done to make it that nobody can score against them.
Just the inability to finish plays coming back to haunt yet another team. It feels like this scoreline shouldn't be 0-0. I feel like it should be 2-0 in favor of Solicit, yet the Ninja find a way to stay in this game. And as we approach this final minute right now, all they need is one big breakaway, and all of that offensive pressure coming from Solicit will be for naught.
I just want to know who they're praying to, because I'm on that religion train at the moment, and they always get one. That's just a cheeky goal. But you got to remember, Invisible Ninja, ground zero in the semi-finals of RLCS, in the grand final, Direwolves, and now against Cringe Society, and in this one, Solicit. Every single time the crossbar's coming clutch, and what a carry from Spidoge.
Yeah, you also have to give credit to his lead blocker in Walcott right there. A big demo man. Spidoge had all of the net to work with, and there is that demo play. There is that counterattack play, and no answer from Solicit this time around. A 1-0 lead, despite being on the back foot for the first 4.5 minutes.
It has been struggle down for Solicit. I hate to see this. I am a big fan of Solicit, or at least their story and how they've managed to come top 8, how they've really started to take it seriously at the end of last year and shown dividends in the work that they've put in. And they just haven't been able to find that missing piece here in game 1 with their striking. They should get one in here, but saved out. Invisible Ninja, another one off the post, another one off the crossbar. They can't get it in. And Invisible Ninja. Oh my goodness, hearts must be racing as they just hold on to that game.
You got to be pulling your hair out watching so many shots get so close and nothing able to get through that net. The Ninja, I mean, yes, they win that game, and if you look at the shot differential, it was only 9-5, yet that really didn't feel like how the game was being played out. Solicit so many chances. If that ball is just hit a little softer, just underneath that crossbar, perhaps we're looking at a 3-1, maybe even a 4-1 game, but unable to get those waning touches, to be able to finish those shots. And again, the Ninja, their defense, when they need it most, they will get those touches. When they don't need it or they're beaten, the crossbar will bail them out. Somehow they take game number 1.
I just don't understand it. What is it? Is it pig's blood? I don't know what to smear on my posts in ranked to have this same level of magic that they continually have, series after series. But they do also have a lot of grit. Invisible Ninja. They always fight for it. They always fight in defense. They're always diving. They're always ready to go and make a play their own, and then they're ready to get the demos themselves. In the end, they don't have to worry about how they've taken some of these victories. It is up to Solicit to figure out that striking opportunity, to figure out how to win.
I feel like Solicit doesn't need to change too much from their game strategy moving into this. They just got to finish those shots. They outshot their opponents. They had those opportunities. If it just goes under the crossbar, they win that game. So stick to your game plan. Stick to your guns if you're Solicit. You'll get more opportunities with the way you've been playing, although off of this kickoff, it does look initially to be in Ninja's favor. Leduc does enough to buy Spido's time, yet Tango stepping forward to challenge, and I like to see that. Solicit still willing to challenge, although this time they might get beat. The redirect off the double will be saved by Snowy.
My potential problem with...
Oh,
that's painful.
I see a bigger problem.
See it.
That's a bigger problem.
Well, Invisible Ninja, again. How do I get this magic? How do I make it so that when I hit the corner, it's going to float into the net every single time? Just tell me, what's the secret?
I think you have the duck threatening to invade Rust faces Walcott.
It's just every single bounce, it just goes in the net every single time. Is it going towards that net because it likes to stay away from the Invisible Ninja net? At this point in time, it just defies all logic that this keeps happening.
I mean, have they found Sunless Cons, like auto aim mod? Is that what's going on here? It's so confusing, but I do agree. Every touch just in favor of this Ninja team right now, and if luck is on your side, or if you have the skill to make luck appear on your side, you can go far. The best teams are always that little bit lucky, and right now, Ninja, they are taking advantage of every bounce, every break going their way, and it really feels like Solicit have such a tougher ask. Another shot on target, the bump, yet Leduc is still in position to make that save.
The thing I was going to talk about earlier is Solicit playing the same game plan. The first game, the way they play it, early challenges, was always going to catch Invisible Ninja off guard. And if they take advantage of that, get the first goal, then you sow the seed of doubt in Invisible Ninja. But the fact that that didn't work out, and Invisible Ninja now knows this challenge-heavy game plan, they've got every right to be able to outplay that, to be able to figure out what's going on and make sure that that doesn't catch them off guard. So I do worry about sticking to that same game plan.
Well,
it's again off the post, by the way.
Yep, another one off the post. I mean, we'll see at this stage. It really hasn't appeared like Ninja has had to react to that game plan. Another post backboard, and there's the clear straight down the middle. No power behind it, so we won't see the goal. But how many times can you hit the post in one game?
Somebody call Shiest. I don't know what's going on. Is it performance-enhancing drugs? Is it a special relationship with Shice to the development team. Who knows? But everybody's hitting the crossbar here. I'm not going to blame Solicit at this point because everybody manages to hit the crossbar these days.
That is magnets in the ball. That's what I'm going to go with. They got him the wrong way, you know. It's just tracking him right into that crossbar, bouncing off each and every time. Tango with a chance. It's off the backboard, sets up Snowy, who can't quite wrap it around, and Vortex puts it right in Snowy's butt. Tango will get into that backboard. Vortex tries to follow through, but it winds up in the corner.
At this point, Solicit need to start a circus. Nothing can go right for them that time. Snowy, actually, it's almost did. Spino shakes to say, just give it one. Just one, please, for Solicit. They deserve one goal. No! Oh, you cannot be. You gotta be kidding me. You cannot believe this. How does it keep on happening?
Yummy, ask and you shall receive. There's their one goal right there. Put in on their own net. I mean, look, if Solicit can find a way to bounce back from these first two games and even find one game win, that will tell me they have the mental fortitude to do great things. But this game has been an absolute disaster for them, and I don't know how you bounce back from this.
Imagine being ground zero right now watching this and being like, man, I feel like we could have done a much better job, but I don't know if anybody could stand up to this on the sheer chaos that is happening throughout these games.
Crossbar.
That's very
there it is!
Let's go, Solicit. Let's go, Tango. He made sure to really put that dead center of the net.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't going to get much more open than that. He really had to put it through. There was a little bit of the time constraint. Defense was wrapping around, but finally Solicit get on the board. 2-goal difference, 90 seconds. It can happen, and if they can build off that momentum, maybe, but another kickoff going against them. Walcott nearly gets underneath the ball for the strike.
Walcott's dribbles have certainly stepped up over the last 6 months. It's been fantastic to see him really shining, not just in that aspect, but as a member of this roster. And now that Solicit have got past that first goal curse, maybe we'll see something. That one is a bit of a post too, but also a very awkward angle for Vortex to be able to get the right touch on. And 53 seconds left here. Difficult situation given Invisible Ninja's defensive strategies. Walcott just gets the save. Very nicely done.
Whew, that was a big time save from Walcott right there. An absolute strike, and I kind of feel like if that one had been put up in one of the corners of the net, it would have been an easier time, but that shot was a little bit straight, so it did give Walcott the earnest to make that save. Now, a little bit of a counterattack opportunity for the Ninja. They're not going to find too much yet. Snowy tries to throw it across the middle. Walcott has the read, does enough to stop Vortex, and Spydoch underneath won't be able to find that strike yet. The time is ticking away, 15 seconds, and it's now a 3-goal lead.
Oh, the Duck, still the Thorn. Yeah, you're just going to have to call him Lathorn at this point. Spydoch hits that straight out. Why is Leduc in that exact position? Nobody knows, but it's the perfect position to be able to get a goal there.
And that will end game number 2. A game that I'm sure Solicit is going to want to forget relatively quickly as... Yeah.
Called that a little bit early, did you?
I didn't say a scoreline, I just said the game was done. And this further emphasizes my point.
That concludes it. We got to wait another 20 seconds for the next 3 goals to go in and see all the replays.
Do we see the 7-1 scoreline then? Like, I mean, it would be fitting.
I don't know. I don't want to see it. I just want to get to the next game. And I think Solicit do as well. Vortex was saying in chat that he's having a few drops in frames, so let's say that's the reason that it's been hitting the crossbar. It's the frame drops. It's Vortex's computer. That's the problem here. Not voodoo magic like we've been talking about.
I mean, it's a pretty impressive computer if it's affecting, some of Tango's shots as well. But it is what it is. Perhaps he's loaning his computer to Tango, and that's sort of what he was going at right there. Either way, Solicit did get that 1 goal, and their 1 goal was nice, but for the most part, that definitely is a game that if you're a fan of Solicit or if you're playing for Solicit right now, you've got to do that full mental reset after that one, because those first 3.5 minutes were rough to watch.
Yeah, you don't want to... I don't know. I don't know what to talk about this game. Honestly, there's nothing that I can say that chat can't say better anyway, right? It brings a tear to the eye. Pico CE. Definitely correct statement right there. It was an interesting game. I've not seen anything like it, realistically, in the history of Rocket League. It is history. We said history was going to be made. I thought in a very different way than what we saw in that one.
Well, there's still plenty of time for more history to be made, though. That was only game 2, and with this best of 7, there is time for Solicit to bounce back.
Please stop. No more history. Let's just go back to regular Rocket League, regular, every day, no history. Just keep it simple, and Solicit, please hit some shots.
I mean, the more I think about that game, too, the more of a shocker it is, because Solicit, normally, they're so consistent in terms of not making those types of mistakes. I feel like they're one of the more sturdy teams. Like, that game kind of came from out of nowhere, and I wonder if pressure, like, I know that's sort of a cop-out response, but I wonder if pressure actually is starting to affect them a bit, because that felt so unlike that team. You have to think something is at play, be it frame drops or, something mental, perhaps.
Oh, it's the big grand final. There is a hurdle there for sure. They've already made that second place in the past. They've already had that pressure off. Now, the only thing that they have left to do is get the grand final win. And, well, that's going to be difficult right now, being 2 games down, but they have got a best of 7, so a chance to come back, but Walcott doesn't want that to happen.
Off of the demo from Spydoge as well. This is pretty standard attack of the Invisible Ninja right here. Nice play on the Vortex, and Walcott, with half of the net to work with, will be able to put it through a 1-0 lead as the Ninjas keep throwing those shurikens through.
I'm worried as well, because that's the attack from Invisible Ninja that we haven't even seen throughout the series, realistically. Last game was largely kickoff goals and interesting bounces that came out from them. Now they're starting to really develop their own attack once again. Get some openings in the net, get some good demos.
Rule 1.
And it may just be a matter of time.
Rule 1 with Leduc, I believe, and he is stuck currently against Tango. So, more history being made, Yummy. It's a Rule 1 in a grand final.
Oh, you don't see that too often. I don't know if that's history. I don't really keep a good track of all the Rule 1s in RLCS and Rocket League history. It's good to see it after Leduc did break one before in order to make a play and maybe get a goal himself. Spydoge holds it out, and Spydoge and Walcott are a definite twos duo that you see a lot, and the same with Vortex and Snowy, who have been together a long time. Spydoge, probably the best twos player in this lobby.
Yeah, finally it will get broken up, and that was actually Tango who sort of freed the team. Actually, it looked like, I'm not sure who bumped it. Was that Spydoge who got the bump onto Tango? I'm not sure. Either way, Tango straight back onto the attack. Does get to the backboard, but Spydoge will make the read.
It's got to be some kind of recognition that Spydoge is going to be deadly in the 2v2 as well. Probably didn't want to keep that for too long, whoever bumped that one out. So now a chance for Solicit. Not a goal just yet. Even still, attack continues, but seems so chill at the moment for Invisible Ninja.
Yeah, I mean, any game compared to the last one, I feel like it's going to be a bit more chill in comparison, but as it stands, I mean, Ninjas, they're still finding a bit more opportunities. They are leading that shot count after the first 2 minutes, but as it stands, we're a back-and-forth gameplay being set up, and actually, this could be dangerous for Solicit. Walcott unable to drive it through the defense, so Spydo's already there, gets bumped off a play by Vortex, yet Leduc nearly found something. Walcott now will beat out Snowy, and that's going to be the 2-0 lead.
And there was a bit of a fake there from Spydoge as well. Walcott used him as cover, because it looks like Spydoge is coming in to touch it. That's why Snowy ended up going a little bit to the left of, or his left of the ball, to try and cover Spydoge's shot, and Walcott, no fear, comes on in.
And with the 2-0 lead, what we've seen from Solicit thus far, it feels a lot more than perhaps what it actually is. We still kind of need to see Solicit really establish their own attack. Those challenges that we saw in game number 1 that were effective definitely has dissipated by the time we've hit game 3. So they are trying to mix up their style, but haven't found the success in it just yet. That's a nice bump. Unfortunately, no quick follow for them.
Counter would be impossible, but actually Vortex's disappearance, his demo on him, allowed him to spawn back in time to be able to take that play away. So that could have been 3-0. Sometimes the demos when you're in defense can cost you on that counter-attack, but another counter-attack opportunity. Leduc screams it high. Snowy now. Chance at the other end, but Leduc will take it away. And saying Leduc's name a lot, he has been very involved in the play.
Especially in comparison from what we saw from him in the semifinals, Leduc getting a lot more involved, and we're really seeing it throw Solicit off at sometimes, although this could be a good chance. That's a very open net. Snowy will put it straight through, and back within one is to the Solicit side.
A bit of confusion there from Leduc at the same time. He didn't see that Snowy was underneath that ball. He was originally looking to go up for an aerial, maybe challenge the play, but Snowy gets a free dribble, and then they've bring themselves back with a chance. They have the opportunity now to get back in contention, but they need to really work out. I think if they lose this game, it's going to be very difficult to take down Invisible Ninjas in a reverse sweep.
I'm also concerned, Yummy, if we were the cause of Leduc getting confused right there. If that was a little bit of the cast or curse, did we sort of jinx him in that situation? Because he had been playing so well being in that right spot up into that point. As we do see Spido's push it forward, but can't get it past Snowy.
Walcott has continued to just be looking for good striking opportunities. It hasn't gone their way just yet, and Spidoja miss. Oh, a pre-jump for Tango off Snowy's touch does not do them any favors. If he'd played that a little bit more patient, maybe knew what Snowy was going to do there, it could have been a goal, or at least a continuation of. Tango should be hitting the backboard, goes for the demo! No! It goes off the post, that's Snowy! Oh, that's how you deal with it. He follows up off the post and gets it in.
Yeah, being able to read the post, I think it's probably the best skill Solicit could have in this one. Somehow even getting around Leduc, who had the head start on that play in order to just sneak it around, tie this game up, and for the first time this series, it feels like Solicit are giving themselves a proper chance to take a game. 40 seconds remaining. Next goal most likely wins this game, and Solicit needs it so badly.
And they've got 2 goals in a row. The signs are there for Solicit to be able to get themselves back into the grand final, back into contention, back into the history books potentially, as Spidoge looking to make some magic and almost goes in his own net. Tango, there's already been 1 own goal for Solicit in this series, and now it's bounced the other way. A charge all the way to the other end, and Leduc just gets back in time.
Still 10 seconds in regulation, and it does mean the Ninjas have a chance. That goes the distance. Tango gets behind it, but the Ninjas are already there. Nice touch from Vortex will crack this offense, and Tango has a dribble play, gets it over the top of Walcott, but gets demoed. Spidoge will keep it in the corner. Ball spiked down, it hits the ground, and we have overtime.
Important overtime, important game 3, and so crucial here for Solicit in particular. They are going to be left on the defense right off the kickoff and not in a position to score, but now it's Tango on the counter, a potential chance as Solicit trying to secure an early lead or an early game just so that they can stay in the series.
Walcott went straight to his backboard off of that kickoff. He was not going to allow any counterattack to happen, but now everyone's kind of playing off the backboard as Solicit tried to create a chance. It's going to go the other way. Leduc pressed forward, has boost, has the reset, gets the bump, but Tango's able to wrap behind and make that save. Vortex going the other way. Walcott puts it in his own net, and Solicit take game number 3.
I don't think Walcott had any boost left. No, he had plenty of boost left. He just wasn't there in position. Just got himself too much in front of the ball. He can't make the save, and the curse goes both ways. Solicit get 1 game on the board.
This is some grand final Rocket League we are witnessing right here, I feel like.
This is an OCE grand final if I've ever seen one.
I mean, you know what? You have to give Solicit credit where it's due in this situation. After that disastrous game 2, they do come back and win game 3 in overtime, and now it feels like we have that series once again. I'd argue momentum probably still in favor of the Ninjas, but just to have that mental bounce back. Maybe the frames were the issue, but Solicit, they're back in the series.
It was maybe even just a bit of a break that got it. You need a break after that second game. I needed a break after that second game. I mean, I was exhausted from, I don't know, the sheer mind-blown factor, the brains leaking out my ears. I needed to squish them back in. So I wonder what it was like for Solicit at the same time. And now they're back into it. they're not in that position where I said earlier where they need to cause surprises. It feels like they are back in a position where they can control the series overall. They can control a game and just take wins from here.
I still feel there will be that pressure, though, to win the next game. 3-1 can be just as difficult at times. Well, I mean, obviously it's not as difficult as the 3-0, but you're still asking for 3 games in a row and what would typically be that reverse sweep. And with the way how Ninjas have been playing overall, minus how they kind of lost that game right there, I feel like you cannot afford that 3-game deficit. So I'm still going to be looking at Solicit to keep what they have building on right now. And I still feel this game number 4 is going to be a must-win for the blue side.
Yeah, you don't want to let Invisible Ninja, the way they've been playing, the way they've been able to attack, get the lead here, or the match point, I should say. That is always going to be a problem for them if they do. But I do think that we'll have the opportunity to see what Solicit are able to bring. And I'm not going to rule them out if they do lose this game, if they also kind of keep it close and play well.
I mean, after everything we've seen tonight, I don't think we can rule out any team to be dead in the water until, you know, the time hits 0 and our champion is crowned, because it just feels like one of those nights. It feels like one of those years, Yummy, realistically, with the results and the way how these games are being played out. So absolutely not going to rule out Solicit, but I still feel those odds are stacked against them as we get ready to jump into game number 4 in just a few moments. I'm kind of curious.
It is a very odd one, right, where you have, I think, some underperforming teams, some overperforming teams, or teams that have risen up as well, but you just don't know where to really fit everyone in, because, yeah, this team might beat Renegades. That was a story at the last year. That's last year's news. Everybody beats the Renegades nowadays, so who cares?
I mean, they're not even top
A couple
8.
of weeks ago, we still thought that was a big deal.
Yeah, it's so kind of crazy if you think about, like, how, I mean, realistically, December to January, it's just another month, right? Like, it should be no different than August to September, yet, I don't know, something about 2021 has just completely flipped so many scripts thus far, as out of the gates, it is Solicit trying to establish some attacking pressure. Ball will be held in the corner. Tango, though, puts in the shot, and that's a 1-0 lead for Solicit.
That's just purely based off a challenge as well. He was coming in to prevent the play originally. He was there to stop an infield pass potentially, and that left him in a good position to be able to find that open net. So Solicit getting off to a good start here, and as he said, in a crucial match to win it and get back to a tied series.
And this is actually the first time we've seen Solicit in the lead this series, if you kind of want to play that game. So we finally get to see what they do when they have that 1-goal advantage. Of course, it was the comeback in overtime, how they took our last one. Curious to see if their playstyle will change at all at the moment. It does kind of seem to be, well, a little bit more of a ninja attack at this stage. Haven't really seen Solicit with the ball. Now we see that pass forward, challenged by Leduc. Gets it back to the backboard off the demo. Spido's not in position to punish as Snowy tries to keep it in the corner.
Invisible Ninja haven't really had to bring out the strong offense. They had moments of it in the last game early on before it died down once again. We'll see if they can bring it out, but Leduc has to make diving saves. Solicit keep hitting them in the defense until Walcott gets a very quick aerial to get out.
Snowy, though, fortunately did get enough of that ball to stop that counterattack. It could have been a big breakaway had Walcott just been that little bit faster. Now, ball in Spidos' possession, gets it past Vortex, and with Tango waiting to challenge, the ball will reach the backboard. Tight positioning from the Ninja, yet Tango, with that light touch, does beat the attack out. Now, no boost to work with, still is able to get it all the way into that corner.
Tango has also been playing some ones lately and actually come out towards the top of OCE, and you're actually seeing some of those skills come out. Not just now, but in the past too, with his solo plays. He's having a lot of impact when he has control of the ball. So potential more opportunities for Solicit to get involved, to take control of the game will be those solo plays.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's most seen too in Tango's decision-making when he has the possession of the ball, you know, choosing when to challenge, when to slow that pace down, try and manipulate the defense as much as possible. And that's been more on display, I feel like, within the past couple games. Although Walcott has a chance right here off that backboard underneath Spidos, won't be able to turn into a strike, and by the time Leduc goes for it, the defense had recovered.
that was really, really nicely held out by Solicit. Given the number of demos coming in, they didn't panic, they didn't overcommit to anything, and they still had a player kind of staying back towards that back post, just playing, waiting, patient, and that kept them well in the defense from there against a strong Invisible Ninja attack.
That said, the Ninjas aren't done with this attack. They've been holding the ball on the blue side of the pitch for a while now, but haven't really been able to break these defensive rotations. Another pass out of the corner of Vortex actually had to push forward, and that could have been the challenge that the Ninja needed. Instead, it's going to go the other way. Tango gets it over one. It's bouncing towards the net, but Leduc somehow keeps the ball safe.
Chance here again, but Spydoge has been quick on the ball. He's been the fast one. Walcott we've seen up to the pace at the same time. And usually on the other end, Vortex is the player who plays this fast, and he's got it over one, an air dribble, one end to the other.
Yeah, that was a big play from Vortex right there. Leduc kind of stuck in no man's land, couldn't recover in time. When the way with Tango position as well, even had Leduc made that save, it felt like Solicit was going to score that goal. So great counterattack, great capitalization, and Solicit in position to tie us up, although the kickoffs, still a reoccurring theme. Spydoge unable to finish the play.
That flick was just not good enough. He needed more, he wanted more, and the power was not there for Spydoge. We've been praising for his mechanics, but more so for his aerial mechanics than his ground ones. Leduc! Oh, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. Invisible Ninja hit the crossbar. It goes both ways. Thank you.
I think finally fate and fortunes are turning around. That said, Walcott will still find openings, able to drive that one. A nice 106 off the ground as well. The counterattack brings us back within one.
Yeah, Walcott's always been in a good position, always in that spot, ready to strike. And like an asp there, he was in very quick. 2-1, 1 minute remaining, and the last couple of minutes has been very much Invisible Ninja's game in terms of possession, and maybe even a chance here if Spydoge can get that one on. There's bumps in front of net. Walcott couldn't open up against two players as though. And
with the tight spacing, Leduc is actually put in an awkward spot. This is going to lead to a pretty open-looking net. Snowy misses with the bump. It does not matter. Tango puts it through in a 2-goal cushion with just 41 on the clock.
And it still forced the defender to go up early, and it still gave Tango the room to fake him out. And that is good partnership, but also good solo play from Tango.
And it was kind of prompted off of, unfortunately for the Ninjas, getting a little bit too aggressive, too tight spacing, allowed them to be punished, although Spydoge goes for the reset. Not going to find the goal off that kickoff just yet, although defense in awkward positions needs that pass down. It was a bit too high, and they can't turn it into a goal. Initially, Leduc with a chance. Tries to play the corner, gets the second touch to hold it in place, back to the middle. The net looks open. There's a Rule 1 in the back of the net, and still the Ninja can't put it through.
Yeah, it's odd to see two Rule 1s in the same grand final. Bumped out by Walcott. He's not a fan of the Rule 1s, and you know what? Instantly punished.
Yeah, you can't do that. You gotta respect the Rule 1. Solicit. They're gonna add another goal to their total right now. This has been a nice turnaround from the Solicit side, and we're going to have a tied series going into Game 5.
Amazing, amazing, especially because Solicit could have taken Game 1. They really had their opportunity, their day there, and it could have been a 3-1 for them maybe at this point. It's a very interesting matchup, playstyle-wise, between these two teams, where Invisible Ninja have been able to make other teams feel uncomfortable and unable to defend and have been able to bump them out. But Solicit have this playstyle that shut down other people's playstyles, and it doesn't look like Invisible Ninja are able to get into those positions, those very aggressive demoing positions that they like to be in, as often as they'd like.
Yeah, and I think it comes from just like the frequency of those challenges where instead of perhaps looking for those bumps or demos, they're actually trying to react to sort of where these challenges and where the ball is winding up. It almost has Ninjas playing a little bit more reactive, I feel like, than what they would like to play. And it was the same success that we actually saw from Solicit, I feel like, in Game 1. If they hadn't hit the crossbar as many times as they did, they should have won that game. And that's why I was saying before, you know, stick with that playstyle. It seems to be working, and by going back to it, they made game number 4 look quite dominant.
It also kind of reminds me of why the old Renegades worked with those early challenges, those plays that really force the defense into the single-minded mindset that you're always going to be challenged, that there's always somebody on. But the way that it resolves is very different between these two teams, because the way it's been resolving right now is then they slow it down, especially Tango will slow it down, fake somebody out as they are expecting that fast play.
Yeah, it definitely is a tough style to wrap your head around if you're trying to defend it. However, we did see how the Ninjas can find success back in those early games, and that really came from when they have those opportunities, being able to capitalize. Case in point, Leduc has a chance here, but this time Tango was able to wrap around and make the save.
And Snowy was also demoing Leduc at the same time, so he had to rush his shot, he had to rush off the ground, which only made it harder to get a strong shot exactly where he wanted it. And Snowy is still chasing people. He just won't let go. He's like a dog chasing a bone, and that bone is the defense of Invisible Ninja at the moment.
Look, I think what Snowy could be thinking is, game 3, we had a Rule 1, we won that. Game 4, we had a Rule 1, won that one. Just trying to force the issue, perhaps, feeling more confident in the 2v2 at times. Either way, it's not going to be the situation. Ball still in the middle of the field. Vortex does barely beat Spidosh to it, but again, it's just another challenge. Middle of the field, Tango. This time, actually a little bit too quick as Spidosh puts it out the backboard. Open net for Leduc, and it's a 1-0 Ninja lead.
That is what a big challenge does for you. A dunk from Spidoge, reading exactly where Tango was gonna hit it. And Snowy, he wasn't prepared. He didn't think that dunk was gonna happen. The first goal to Invisible Ninja. But Solicit have made the comeback multiple games.
That they have. I mean, they definitely made the comeback in Game 3. Game 4 was that first one where we saw them with the lead, so if they can channel that Game 3 energy, they might be able to bring this one through. Walcott, nice touch, gets the dunk as well, but not quite on target. And with that much power, it could be a fast counterattack. Snowy beats out Spidosh, but won't get past the second defender.
Now seeing big touches come out from Invisible Ninjas, but no follow-ups, especially with Snowy again hounding every single member of Invisible Ninja. They're now starting to be called invisible just because you can't see them anymore on the pitch. Taken out before their time and made very difficult to score when there's only one person able to tantalize that net.
Yet Leduc was still able to slow that down after the double demo to keep the Ninjas on the attacking half of the pitch, and now they're back. Walcott! That shot had a chance, just a little bit too tight. Now Snowy finally looks to clear it back to the orange side of the field.
Difficult for Walcott, who's also trying to get the height at the same time, as a very difficult angle, because even if he got the angle, it was potentially defended out. Now Spidoge a pass out, but Walcott had crept a little close, not expecting a pass off the wall from Spidoge. Maybe a miscommunication coming out. The demo is still coming from Walcott from all angles, from both sides, from both teams even. And it does make for interesting viewing.
That it does. Oh my goodness, Spidoge almost able to sneak that one through. Tango still goes for that flick, but now we're starting to see, I feel like the Ninjas actually starting to challenge so much more aggressively, so far forward, really pressuring this defense. Yet, credit where it's due right now, Solicit is holding on. They just can't seem to get past that first attacker.
That goal came from a challenge, but not only that, their challenges kind of in that front of net area have been doing wonders, and a large part of that is that they're understanding that Solicit are just trying to get the clear a lot of this time. Almost getting the double read, Snowy. It would have been a very fast double. He's still going to stay in the attack here. Maybe a chance as Vortex comes in, hits the backboard once again, but Invisible Ninja's defense very well rotated and make sure that they hold on. Still a minute to go, but good position here from Invisible Ninja.
Yeah, I feel like Solicit's attack during that phase was just a little bit too slow, so the Ninja were able to keep those rotations, very, very much in pace. As that's a great little play by Leduc. 2-0, big lead in the dying seconds.
A little bit of a whoopsie here from Leduc. He just beats out Tago ever so slightly, and despite not having boost, and despite having to rush to that ball, he still finds the angle on the net.
And with the 2-0 lead, it looks like Game 5 is going to be taking the Ninjas to tournament point. Here in our fourth week, Spido's going to put another one on target, and that will go through. As if we had any doubts before, it's going to be match and tournament point in favor of this orange side.
Invisible Ninja stepping up in this one and really taking control. But a lot of that is almost playing Solicit's own game against them, shutting down everything Solicit want to do, shutting down every opportunity they could take. One shot on the board for Solicit this game.
And Leduc continues to keep piling on the points for Ninja on the opposite end. As we see this play right here, I mean, does it count as a double touch if you have to use the ground to launch yourself back up again?
No, it's just a backboard.
Just a backboard.
Self-backboard. But it's still nice. It's still good for Leduc to get that one in and give themselves the confidence that they are doing the right thing in this game. I mean, you got to have confidence after keeping your opponents to one shot. It is very hard to score 5 goals to beat Canberra Havoc with only that one shot on the board.
I feel like this game was what you kind of prophesized back in game number 2 on what would happen if Solicit stuck with that playstyle for too long. They used it to take games 3 and 4 back, but at this stage, after losing those 2 games, it feels like Ninja now have been able to adjust their own tempo, their own pace, to get a lot more aggressive with it and really play into those challenges, and they made game 5 look far too easy.
There's going to be a potential question here for Solicit of why didn't they win that game 1? Why didn't they take it? They would be in the commanding position here still, but now all control goes to Invisible Ninja. Not only are they on match point, but they do it completely shutting out Solicit from both ends of the pitch, shutting down the defense, opening it up, and also preventing them from getting it to the other end. We'll see how Solicit managed to adapt here. And maybe they just bring back that snowy demo machine. The snow plow.
Yeah, the snow plow or even the snow hunter, I feel like, forced the Ducks to migrate in winter because Leduc with his 7 shots and 3 goals in that last game. And definitely, you know, Thorn, Splinter, Broadsword, whatever you want to call it. He's just been in that side of every sort of team they've come up against. And that proved to be the case again in that 5th one as off of this kickoff, it once more will be the Ninjas on the attack. Tango tries to play through the corner. Walcott's already there, slows it down, yet Snowy. Actually, that's the clear they wanted to see. Tango, unfortunately, couldn't make the read past Leduc.
Leduc is trying to get that one out as we head through game number 6. But the potential winner here for Invisible Ninja, it would be back-to-back first places in tournaments. It would be truly telling of how they sit in OCE, that they'd be able to achieve it, not just against the teams that they beat tonight, but also the teams that they beat in RLCS, taking down almost every team in the region at this point. And they even do it really well here, just absolutely taking shot after shot, making sure that no point in time could the defense be comfortable.
That was a strike from Walcott right there. I know Leduc's going to get credit for the goal, but it's the same tight spacing, that same aggressive play style right in front of the net that really Solicit has yet to find the answer for. Although this kickoff looks good, Leduc will be forced to keep it high. So much pressure on Solicit to sort of adapt their own approach right now. They need to find something to stop this attack from the Ninjas because Leduc is adding on to it once again, a 2-goal lead, and we're only just over a minute in.
It's also getting so awkward for Solicit, where they're worried about the demos coming in, and they're thinking that they have to just commit. It's causing more double commits from coming out. It's causing those openings. It's causing that counter-attack goal to happen. 2 goals in the lead. A third would put Invisible Ninja in the absolute driver's seat, even though 2 goals is mostly enough in the past, but proven wrong in this series in game number 3.
Exactly. Game 3 kind of proved otherwise, although it did require an overtime. First things first, Solicit needs to get at least 1 goal on the board. It feels like ages since they've been able to do so after getting shut out back in Game 5. They need to get something going, and it feels like since Game 5, they've just sort of been playing on their own side of the field, or really since Game 4, I should be saying. And now another potential breakaway. Snowy does avoid the block and makes the save.
There's another one of those situations where Invisible Ninja have demoed somebody as they're in defense, and that means that they spawn back in time. But Leduc, very, very sneaky, sneaks this one into the top left corner.
Yep, biding his time, going for the backflip just to make sure. Everything is timed perfectly before pressing forward and striking. Now is that 3-goal lead that is at times insurmountable. We need to see Solicit really come alive right now because the clock, the odds, everything's against them except for that shot from Vortex. They're right back in it.
Straight off the kickoff, giving themselves an opportunity here. And Walcott was there, but he'd already gone for an early dive and was too low to be able to make the save, so it bounces off him. And back to a 2-goal game. All eyes on Solicit to see if they can bring it back.
And I'm kind of looking for Snowy to continue to be sort of the play initiator. Maybe not necessarily the striker that you'll see from Tango or Vortex, but I'm looking for Snowy to create those openings, get some of those demos that we saw before. We know this team can finish, but sometimes they need that little bit of help. At the moment, however, it is Ninjas pushing forward. Leduc misses his bump, and Tango was there for the save. Now tries to drive it the other way, but Leduc from behind will bump. It's a pinch attempt, just a little bit wide of the mark.
It was very difficult to get that pinch on target, given the angles that those players had to come in, and given Leduc was so close to that ball as well. So, not expected to be a goal, but it could have finished up in the net after a follow-up. That one was actually on target. Tango has to make the save. More of that invisible ninja, almost luck factor of having 50s go towards that net. It's, at least they haven't been sinking in. Solicit have been holding on the defense strong enough to keep in the game.
Keep in the game, but not take it back over. And with just under 2 minutes remaining, they still need to find that extra edge to their attack. It feels like every time they get on that orange side, it has been back to the Ninja quick clears, quickly throwing it back the other way. And as a result, they haven't seen anything sustained from Solicit just yet. Another big clear, this time from Leduc, and it's looking so similar to what we saw from that semifinals.
Spy Doge, maybe looking to get this one into center. Desperation now has to settle in for Solicit. They have to look for these goals, and they may have one here, but Snowy's shot not exactly where he wanted it.
It goes straight to Leduc, who could put that in the corner and really kill that momentum fast. Ball still on that orange side of the field. Solicit still looking for that opening. Walcott, not a lot of boost to work with. It's a meatball. Spydoge gets there a little late. Vortex almost gets the challenge that could have brought us back within one.
He's still beating out one Leduc, but Tango trying to work something out, but his solo plays don't work against three. And that is Leduc getting a counterattack. They've shut down the attack once again from Solicit.
Yeah, they've shut it down, and now Walcott tries to end it, yet Vortex is there for the save. 40 seconds still to play. Spydoge with boost to work with, gets it past Tango. Can't quite get the pinch off the roof. Instead, Vortex from underneath, desperate to get back to that orange side of the field, yet Spydoge from behind will take it away from him.
Good touches from Vortex have not been enough. Invisible Ninjas, their defense have been on form. They've been able to hold over and over again and even get to the other end, but still not score. 20 seconds left here for Solicit.
I think time is finally starting to run out. Tango gets the demo. Snowy, 2 defenders to beat, puts it on target, but Walcott is there. 7 seconds left in play. It's not going to happen for Solicit. And for the second event in a row, the attack of the Invisible Ninja will get themselves the victory.
They make it for the first time in the RLO Masters as well. Their first true victory. Surmounting everybody, surmounting Ground Zero, surmounting Direwolves twice now, and also taking down Solicit and Cringe Society today. They have proven their point, and now heading towards that major, you gotta really worry. Our Invisible Ninja, the force that are gonna take down everybody once again.
I mean, they are definitely setting themselves up as that #1 team to beat, it feels like. Momentum is going to be in their favor. Now, it wasn't necessarily that perfect run. Ground Zero did get the better of them during the group stages, so you still have that question up in the air. Can they take down Ground Zero, sort of again? But as it stands, back-to-back tournament victories, you cannot take that away from this team.
The promising sign in that Ground Zero match was that games 3 and 4, they were in the lead and kind of had situations where they let the goals in the last few seconds against Ground Zero, but that was a very close series. There were 2 overtimes that Invisible Ninja won in the first place. There was another overtime throughout the series, so very, very close at least with Ground Zero fighting for that top spot. Solicit now have caused a big upset over the top of Ground Zero 2. And in fact, let's have a look at tonight's bracket just to really sum it all up. The Solicit win, a big one. The Cringe Society win over Mind Freak, very impactful. Invisible Ninja once again taking down Direwolves, this time in a 3-0, getting Cringe Society afterwards, a team that they hadn't really had good success against, and now taking down Solicit just to get the icing on the cake. They don't care about the win over Solicit specifically, they care about getting that win.
Absolutely, and there's even stories that kind of are hinted at in this bracket as well. Team Process getting to yet another quarterfinals, knocking themselves in the top 8, specifically doing it over the likes of the Renegades, who are now, again, if we can get the score, I don't know if we can get the score update, but they're now sitting safely in. But Mind Freak in that 3-way tie, you've got Forbidden in that 3-way tie, and you've got Renegades all in a 3-way tie with one spot available. Two of those teams not going to be there, as here we can take a look at our sort of updated standings, and yeah, Mind Freak, Renegades, Forbidden, all at 340. Only one of them makes it on Tuesday.
That is an interesting tale. You're not really expecting Mind Freak or Renegades to not make it, but Mind Freak have an excuse. They've been playing with Lethal for 2 out of the 4 weeks, and even for the beginning of this week. What's Renegades' excuse? You know, that's the real teaser there, and if they don't make the top 8, then that is real trouble for that team heading towards the major. Over on the top 8 that have been secured, Ground Zero did get first place, especially with Direwolves coming in that 5th to 8th place this week, even though Ground Zero were 1 point ahead of Direwolves before that. Solicit were always confirmed 3rd place once they made it to the grand final. And Invisible Ninjas and Cringe Society, once they got to the grand final, were definitely going to play against each other, but it's funny that they end up being just 1 point ahead of Cringe.
Yeah, that is, I mean, that's that 1 point that you get from winning a tournament, right? So they are in a sense rewarded in terms of placing, and I guess that bragging rights, but still a very interesting bracket for next Tuesday. There's going to be some fun matches to kick things off, but not typically what you would expect to see. That we have the potential of a Ground Zero Renegades or a Ground Zero Mind Freak sort of game number 1 in that winner's quarter, and that's typically something you'd see maybe in the semifinals or even a grand final type situation.
Well, OCE is completely blown wide open, and it couldn't be possible without the RLO Masters to really understand the full gravity of the situation, the full matchups, why it's going so crazy in RLCS. I mean, it's hardly determined even in the RLO Masters, but that means we have to give a shout out to RLO and to Sarnix for sponsoring the event and making it possible for us to see events like this. Make sure, guys, by the way, thank you all for tuning in tonight, all you lovely Twitch viewers, but the big one, the big show is next Tuesday, so make sure you're here for Tuesday for the monthly final. Max, any last thoughts about tonight before we go to that big event?
One thing I would like to say is, again, a quick thank you for those who tuned in, and I'm just going to recommend something, because this person started streaming, and I want everyone to follow his stream. Keep your eyes open. Dover streams now.
Oh, all right. You were going to say me. Oh.
Everyone knows you
stream. I'm so
disappointed.
disappointed.
No, it's Dover who's streaming now, so I want everyone to jump in and follow his stream, all right? I think that's important, because you talk about it a lot as well. He does so much work behind the scenes. He needs that OCE love.
Yeah, bit of love. Head over to Dover's channel. He'll spam it in the chat. You know the kind of guy he is. Always self-promoting. But thank you all for coming along. Absolute pleasure casting alongside you, Max, as well. And a pleasure working with RLO all the time. And look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday. Stay safe this weekend. Have a great end of the week. And we'll see you very soon.